Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Welcome to Tuesday night. Hello, everybody. It's Golden Guys. It's JD here, and I'm with the fellas right now. And we are just like the girl and the girls without all the sex appeal, but we're here. We're going to be joined by Anthony Snyder a little bit. He's getting his camera up and running a little bit. But welcome back. Happy 2021, everybody. They say it can't get worse, but you never know. Right now, I just want to say hello to everybody. Hope everybody's having a good time. Good New Year. I haven't seen some of these guys since Christmas, but let me start with the introductions right off with this guy over here. DS, how we doing, my friend?
I'm great. Yeah, excited that the new year has started. I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm glad that's done. I already had COVID, so that's done. Yeah, so I'm ready to go, like back to the way things used to be, and so I'm excited about this year going forward.
Nice, very cool.
What's the reason you don't celebrate Christmas?
Not Christian, and I don't support the commercialization of it.
There you go. Nice.
And I don't have kids yet, so
that's true.
Yeah, when I have kids,
I will say that it certainly picked up a lot from me.
Oh yeah,
kids by 1,000-fold.
That's a cheap way to get Valentine's Day gifts, man.
How are you doing, Knights? Drinking a Guinness?
I'm doing great. So far, so good this year.
Good.
Can't complain.
That's good. How's the new gig?
Good. New job is good. It's kind of rough going from not working almost 6 months to every day.
Yeah, grind.
It's kind of like, oh God.
I only had about 4 months off, I guess. But what can you do?
Well, I've been working straight through.
Happy to be working though.
Jeff Guru, how we doing, my friend?
Always said to me, you can never complain about too much work or something. That's like true. That when he was in depression.
Not supposed to complain about work, so. No. Jeff Guru, how we doing, my friend?
Good, guys. 5 days into this year, kids are back at school. Not back in school. They're just on their online school, but it just feels better. They're at least doing something with their day, so I'm happy about that. Yeah. Nice. I got a new washing machine dryer. So excited. Like, the little things that make your life a little bit easier.
I did that. I have a Samsungs I got, but the problem is that I hope I put the drawer on the wrong side.
Oh yeah, they should be easily changeable, reversible.
Yeah, I gotta just flip it over, and I'm lazy.
Yeah.
It's better to go like this when you want to move it. So,
yep. Other than that, all good. Got some books in too. And
nice. Yeah, I think a lot of people here are gonna be showing some fun stuff.
All right.
Like all of us do it. Once Anthony gets here, we'll bring him in. Let me see. We can hear him.
Yeah, I have 5 computers here, and not one of them is working.
Just get one good one.
No, 6.
Six.
Literally 6 computers.
Yeah, he's working on it. We'll give
Commodore 64. And
we'll definitely have Anthony. We'll leave Anthony here. Anthony, you can hear us. Everybody can hear you. You're all good. Yeah. We'll talk. We'll go.
Do your cell phone if you have to. At worst.
I'll tell you what. Let me play Anthony's new intro. It's a new one, and it's about it. It's not the 4-hour director's cut. This is the original version. This is the Criterion version. It's a good one.
It's a 1 minute. It's a
Snyder Man does whatever a dealer can. Spins a deal any size. Have good stuff he will buy. Look out, here comes the Snyder Man. Comic art, comic books too. He's got collectibles old and new. At a shop or at a show, stuff to sell, he'll come to you. Hey there, here comes the Snyder Man.
Great. I love it. Good job.
Where's your commercial, DS?
Huh?
Yeah, we have the Golden Guys.
DS, you need a commercial.
Yeah, I
You
need
need
a
it.
commercial. I don't even know how to do that intro that everybody's doing that counts down from 30 seconds before a video. I see that, I'm like, man, everybody's so high tech. I don't do any of it, man. I just click go live. I can't even do pre-recorded anymore. I just click go live on my channel because it's easier.
Nice.
7.
Jeff's got some good stuff going on Instagram. You got like a new like marketing manager or something?
No, it's all me, man. I really enjoy it, man. It's fun. I get lost in it. I get caught up in it and like editing. I'm like, this is supposed to be like 10 minutes. Next thing I know, I'm like 45 minutes in, an hour, you know. So, but it's a lot of fun, man.
What program?
It takes a lot of effort. I use InShot on my phone. Otherwise, I use Adobe Premiere on my computer for just more
I like
stuff.
Premiere, yeah.
Nice. All right. So before we get into the chat, I want to thank everybody for joining us here, and hopefully everybody's having a good time. We'll be showing a lot of stuff because we were off last week. So who do I want to go first? Guru, show us some stuff. I know you got rid of a lot.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Usually when I know you get rid of something, you usually pick up something. Is there anything we
Yeah, I got some stuff here. I'll
that's
just
what I
show
wanted.
a few cool ones. Some of them I'll save maybe for another time. So I got these from a guy on Instagram. I think it was Parallel Universe. Here's some cool books. I got a cool Green Hornet in one of these early.
Oh, hang on. Let me bring this. I'm going to put you on the big screen. So give me 1 second here.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, yes.
You know, just early enough to where
That's cool.
doesn't get too hokey yet. Number 9.
Has a Charles Bureau vibe. I don't know if it's him or not.
I want to say it's. I didn't look it up yet, but it's maybe Simonish.
Yeah, it's got Simonish vibe too. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. One of the most underrated was the Green Hornet run. The artwork inside. Check it out. I mean, you might get some. I think Archie Goodwin, I think, did some.
Oh, nice. I never seen that one.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's the Sparky Watts. It's Hitler and it's not Mussolini, is it? I forget who's on this one, but it's cool because it's a beautiful copy. I mean, this with the press could be potentially 8.5.
that's Joe.
Well,
Goering.
7580.
Yeah,
Depends on
that's
how they
Goering on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a nice clean copy.
Goering. Okay, it's a really nice copy. These are some of the nicer ones. A cool Rangers book. Early Rangers, number 9.
Number 9, good one.
Yeah, it's a cool. I mean, check out that gal. God, I'm so
Yeah.
this camera. Just like directing. Looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
she's.
nice.
Is she
That's not Zoner. Who did that one? Is that
It's Zolnowicz.
It is Zoner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, is she a bad?
She looks like she's the big bad. She's got,
Yeah.
I
she's got
thought
like
she
a
was
serpent. Look at the snake on her arms.
Oh.
You know, anytime you can command serpents, you're
I
probably
thought she
the
was
bad
in
guy.
an electric chair at first.
You have that metal cap
Yeah.
on top.
Guru has a serpent cover.
That's right.
I like it.
Flame.
Oh, let me see. Flame.
Oh,
Nice.
Look at that. I mean, this one it's a cool. I mean, the flame image isn't for me. It's a little awkward at first until you stare at it, but you lose also the fact there's some gal cut on I beams.
Yeah.
And she's. I mean, that's like probably the longest way to take somebody out. You know, time to I beams and then cut them loose. I know.
I'll
I
just
know.
cut them.
You know, that's up there with the log with the big rolling saw when the logs go in.
Yeah, this is
I
the
love
last
that one.
one.
Oh, that's cool.
This one
Oh.
unfortunately is trimmed. I'm pretty positive. You can see how much of a gap is on top of that board.
Yeah, but that's
so-
a orangutan. Yeah.
It's a cool cover. It's disappointing to see it and be like, ugh, God.
That's probably Sam Cooper, right?
It is a Cooper, yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah, I've got one of those. This is number 13. It's a Cooper, yeah.
You uploaded it, but I'm trying to get it on the iPad.
No, I'm good.
Good stuff. Hey, Anthony,
go.
we can see him now. That's good.
Yeah, I went to my phone. 7 computers here, and I'm on my phone.
We'll have to get a camera over to Mr.
The way to go,
Snyder.
man. Worst case, sort on your phone.
I'm going to show a little bit before we get to.
Well, Happy New
YouTube.
Year, everybody.
Happy
Yep,
New Year,
yeah,
man.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. First thing I'm going to show is I did pick up 2 new jungles. I've got a Kanga. I'll just put myself on the big screen now. This was a fun find. ANC. Good stuff. I mean, just the elephant cover right there, and a lot of action. Kind of a. Honestly, I looked at this in the background with the blue going to purple, and then with all the flames on it. This honestly there's enough colors on this one that I was just really shocked how good it will look. Then I picked up a Schomburg. I picked up another one of these because a local guy had it, and he said, "I know you'll like Golden Age comics and Jungle Girls," and I said, "Yep, I have to."
And elephants.
And elephants, of course, because that's what I collect now. But looks good. One little tick here on the side, but other than that, for a book this age and everything else, it's in good condition. Definitely needs a press and some love like that. But again, the red pops, the yellow background. I kind of think this is one of those that I just love the contrast there, and Showoff did a good job. And the big thing I got this week was thanks to one of the other guys on the panel here. I love doing my original art. This is the if you don't know
Kirkham C2E2 program cover.
Stegman C2E2
Oh,
program.
Stegman, yeah, Stegman.
Yep, Ryan Stegman C2E2 program cover. Actually, the actual poster, it was the official poster and the program cover and the cover for an Avengers comic that was only available at C2E2 exclusive. But the one that ended up being published, which I like this one 10 times better. I'll show it right here. I'll show you what the original one looked like in a second. It was just a little different, little changing of the characters. Thor, Odinson, and Steve Rogers were replaced by Jane and Sam Wilson there. But looks good. And I remember going to this con, and I'm looking for my program right now in my piles of stuff. But it's pretty interesting right here, and looks really good. And it's an Ultron Avengers piece, so now I've got something. I like all of those things. So that's my thing. And once again, thank you, Anthony Snyder. That's 3 Christmases in a row now.
Nice, good stuff.
All right.
Anthony should do something called the Santa Snyder set. So.
Yeah.
Because every year I get a surprise, and my wife's like, "Go get it."
I push that every all us collectors should be buying ourselves Christmas presents. It's our duty to our collecting habit, because who's going to really give us something that we want for our collection?
Yeah, I showed it to a few of the guys we had on one of the panel on a side panel from the Hero Initiative, and they were like, they're older guys, Simonson and the older guys, and Phil Hester, and they just said, and Phil just looked at it and he goes, "That Stegman guy just takes everybody's job." I thought it was funny. It was just, real good. Knights, you got anything you want to share? I'm sure.
Well, I was going through a bunch of data trying to make some sense out of 2020, but I don't really have any show and tell. But I did want to mention, you were saying we should all buy ourselves a Christmas present. The problem with that is I already start doing that like in March or
Yeah.
by the time
That's funny.
Christmas comes.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I got 2 Christmas presents I bought myself.
that's what we want to see, because I know one of
Yeah.
them will get to DS. But Anthony, let's see what you got. Good having you on. Here you go.
All right.
You're on the board.
Well, these ones I pull out every year, actually, because the LB Cole Holiday Comics Christmas covers, and
Yes.
about ready to retire them for the year. But I just these are ones I keep around to display at Christmas.
Nice.
So good.
It'll be cold.
Yeah, but this is a nice one. But then this is the best one ever. I mean, this one I think is like up there all time, Christmas cover period. Can you get the right non-glare there?
Yeah, it looks great.
Do you see along the spine? This
Yeah.
ball, the detail on it.
Yeah, nice.
Fine, nice.
Oh, but I keep those around to display every year. My wife actually loves them. She's like she just sees this old-fashioned Christmas Santa aesthetic, and it's from that is old-fashioned because it's from 1951, 52, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're both from 52.
Mhm.
So, but this one I've locked up for myself. Walt Disney Comics and Stories 1. I
Nice.
bought it in a 2.5 case. I had somebody work on it for me, and came back, half grade higher. So that's
Nice. Look at
I'm a
that.
big Disney fan. I love Donald Duck. Donald Duck's my favorite Disney character.
Is that Barks already?
I don't think so. No,
No, I don't think he's
the first Barks is the one where he's at the ticket counter.
right.
He's going in a game or something.
Yep.
That's
Very
the
cool.
first Barks.
Nice.
But that's Walt Disney's Comics and Stories 1, and that I'm locking up for myself, my personal collection, let's say.
Nice. Love that.
And this because of I remembered this page. I just certain pages from my childhood comics just stick with me, and this was one of those pages. So when it came up, I pursued it, and it's a Hulk 180 page.
Oh,
nice.
Trimpy, huh?
Yeah, it's got the Norwegian witch. and
Yeah.
she's like already knocked out the Hulk with one spell, and then she's summoning Wendigo. You can see him over here.
Yep.
Right, that's her summoning Wendigo with her magic, and then the Hulk is waking up from his spell, and so it's kind of like the whole it turns into the whole story turns on this page, right? Because
Right.
Hulk wakes up, and here comes Wendigo, and they're going to start a ruckus, and they're going to cause so much trouble that the government sends Weapon X.
Yep. Which we know what that is, who that is. So
Yeah. So,
excellent. I love her hand. It reminds me of one of those Kirby classic Kirby we call perspective shots that he does, when sometimes the hand on, like, especially he did it with Hulk, especially Kirby did with Hulk. He had the hand in the front and in the back, and just like that. And Trumpy did a great job on that. That's one of my favorite things. Great work.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
yeah, so I mean, it's the first Wolverine issue, and people were valuing it. I had to compete for it, so paid more than I wanted to, or more than but it's I collect Trippy Hulk pages and the Trippy Abel storylines from this, so I didn't have one from 180 or 181, so that's kind of a real keeper for me.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, DS, you've been busy.
Yeah, I've got a few books. I have had some stuff come back from CGC. I had a small Golden Age submission, just some books I didn't have a lot into, but were pretty cool. So I have 3 of them. I sold one. I sold the Science Comics 7. You guys probably know what that one is. But, I have the other 3 that came back. I like these early Smash Robot covers. I'm not trying to get high grades. I just want to not put out a lot for them and just collect some of the cool ones. So this is Smash 5, December of 1939. Bozo the Robot on it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty nice. Got 2 on that. I really like that one. So I have Smash 3 and Smash 5. So I need to get a Smash 1, but that's
Good luck.
Is the back cover missing? That looked like a better than a 2. I mean,
No, the cover is reattached with tape. So that makes it a very good looking low grade.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it weren't for that, and it's taped back on really, really neatly. It's not like, all jacked up or anything.
Yeah, I had tape removed once on a book, and it wasn't worth it.
So yeah, it's a complete, nice, just low grade one for my collection. I have Smash 3 and a 2.5, so this goes with it good. So yeah, I don't need high grades of these books.
Good for you.
This one I thought might slide by with the blue, but they gave me a purple on it. It has a little bit of glue at the bottom staple. I don't feel like it was providing any type of structural protection or doing anything really, but they called it cover reinforced. So it is what it is. No big deal. It's a Blue Bolt from 1942. Harold Delay cover. Yeah, and this is a robot cover too. Real tough book to find. It's not, I just bought the only one I've ever seen for sale, basically, and yeah, pretty nicely presented copy. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Blue would be better, but what are you going to do?
The purple goes well with that purple background in the cover.
Yeah.
I will begrudgingly admit that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two books that have purple labels or green labels. I've always said, look, if you've never seen a House of Secrets 92 in a green or purple label, it looks better than in a blue.
Yeah, it does. This was my favorite one from that submission. Another robot cover, actually. Exciting 45, Schomburg. This one came out tonight.
That's easily one of my favorite books that you got the last year by far.
Yeah, so the deal of this, when I got it, I didn't pay a lot for this either, but it had a little bit of color touch, which I scraped off, but it was bleeding through. So I tried to just as minimal as possible, and it's small enough that I was able to hit that 5.0 off white to white.
Do you
title, but decent copy of this book.
When I try to scrape off color touch, I've always used an X-Acto. Is there
I have a fairly a moderately sharp pocket knife.
Yeah.
I feel like the razor is too sharp, but a dull one is not good enough. So this is like an in-between sort of sharpness. And I can scrape just the top layer of paper off. Unless it bleeds through, like this one bled all the way through. There's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, I had but still nice book. You don't see this around too much.
This is my tool I use for that. I got it years ago and I dulled it down after I had my first accident. Yeah. I dulled it down and just a little bit. You can see it's sharp. Don't get me wrong. It'll take out your jugular. Watch out.
Yeah, I don't think I have the dexterity to use something like that.
And yeah, when I used to smoke, it was a bad idea because you get the shaky hands. Now that I'm relaxed, but now that I have kids, I shake even more.
Yeah, that'll work. I mean, you develop your own tools, and it's good to try new things and see what works for you.
I've seen, I've heard the story, and I don't know how this works, but I spoke to Mike DeChellis from Hero Restoration, and he said that sometimes, not every time, if you have one of those thick lead pencils, you can almost pencil over the color touch and then erase and then very carefully. He says it takes a lot of time and it'll start to come off beforehand. Problem is that you have to know before you do it that it's going to work. So if you don't, you're just putting pencil on the thing and you're erasing it and you might tear it. So like we always say, and this is just something that we say here, and I don't know if you say, the less you touch your book, if you're going to get it graded and you worry about condition, which we do, the less you touch it, the better. But we can't not help touching it. It's what we do. We touch everything. We press them, we clean them, we smash them. Like I used to call pressing smashing. I was never a big fan of I was the anti-presser for a long time, and then I drank the Kool-Aid and I have one right here. Humidity chamber here, everything going on. But great books, everybody. I got
one more if you want to see it.
Do you have it in house?
I got it's here.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I don't know
my heart
because I'm getting cheap in my old age or the market's ridiculous right now, but I can't score as much gold lately. Maybe I just don't want to pay. So I went ahead and spent some money on a Silver Age book.
The Silver Age.
Well, yeah, it's a low grade. It's covered detached, creamed off white. It's, tanned. But, it's all there. I think it looks all right.
I love it.
A good price on it. So, yeah, FF1. Yeah, not bad. So, everybody's picking on me now that I've moved away from gold and into the Silver Age because I'm a Golden Age collector and now I'm picking up this. So it doesn't really make sense. But, I'm an opportunist. So this came along and I figured why not. So
I have a whole,
I collect a good liquid entry-level book down the road when I move it.
Yeah. I am looking at a pulp dealer, and I have been in conversation about a few books, but he doesn't have the one I really want. The one I really want is out there, but the choice I had was to go buy another one of those, or I'm going to say I've already had an FF1. I had it for 10 to 12 years, and I sold it for a ridiculous amount of money way back. not way back, but my daughter's 5, so 5 years ago. And I'm kind of still searching for that Weird Tales from December 1932. So if you know anybody with a first appearance of Conan, and I don't mean the Barry Windsor Smith, I mean the first. I'm going to shout out the chat in a little bit before we start our top topic here. Knights, I think you were in charge of top topic, and then we have some stuff to do. So the first one in here was me. I never comment, which is true. Mr. Gretzky here. Something Wong. Good having you here. Mr. Gretzky is always great right there. Who we have here? Chris Barrett. Thank God we can start the show again. Gretzky and Barrett are 2 guys. Ricky, there's the other one. Hello. Ricky, great having you here. NC Slapjack. Hey everyone, good having you here. I'm glad you guys are all talking. Everybody's there. Yeah. Bots are running. Keeping an eye on everybody. Kachung. We're golden. We are so golden today. It's been a good time. Good having you here, my friend. What are we at now? Keep going down the line. And again, I only show your first one if I don't show the second one. Anthony Purdue, one of our favorite here, one of our most knowledgeable guys. Look at that. Booty Rogers, Sparky Watts, a Superman in civilian clothes. I love it. Man Cave, good having you here. Always a pleasure. Look at that. It's got a nice little faucet right there for everybody to look at. Comic Mad Musings. There he is, saying hello. And let's just say, because we don't want to highlight DS's ego enough as it is, he says hello, gang, as well. So right there. Let me just get right down the line. We've got here Vinny McLean. Vinny McLean and the Comic Machine. I like that. That's a good one. Good having you here. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for being a friend. What we got here? A few more coming down the line. Schoenberg covers on Harvey. Oh, look at this right away. Just always show Anthony Purdue. Schoenberg covers on Harvey's Speed and all new comics are busy scenes similar to Timely. Love it. We will get a lot of good information on Anthony Purdue. I'll tell you that. He's one of our keeps us in check right there. And of course, the Guru has made it. So, all right, good having everybody here. And I know there's more watching. So, Knights, what was the topic you wanted to go over?
Well, there's a few things. Have you guys seen the if you have GPA analysis, you might have seen it, but there's that it's new to me. It's the CGC average market capitalization. Have you seen those charts?
No.
All right.
Do we have charts?
Yeah, I'll share my I was just curious what you guys thought about this.
I've been talking about it last week, but I didn't know it was on the GPA, but yeah.
Now, and they're kind of trying to like ask the question or answer the question, what's better to have if you could have everything, all these slabs of Action Comics #1 or all the slabs of Hulk 181 or all the slabs of AF 15? Like, I mean, what would you guys think? What would you rather have?
Of all books ever.
Yeah.
In slab form.
Like value.
The accumulation of each one. There's more 181s probably that would accumulate.
Way more 181s, yeah.
But what would you rather have?
Capitalization would be like the total number of slabs, and so the total value of all the slabs for a particular book.
Yeah.
I would say the 181. No, I would say the Action 1 values, because there's a couple at the top that blow away, most all the 181s. I would say Action 1 probably has a much higher capitalization than the Hulk 181.
20,000.
If I could just have one that I just would really enjoy and love over and over and over again every time I saw it, would be just Captain America Comics 1.
Yeah,
for me.
Well, but I'm saying, like, what do you think would be worth the most? Like, if
I would say probably
every single slab of
Batman 1 probably.
Value. We're talking value only, not what preference of what we would want.
Yeah.
Batman 1.
Cap 1, maybe.
Batman one has a lot of copies on the census and they're high dollar, so it's a good multiplier in for that. Action doesn't have as many, but they're very high.
Where is ASM 300 in this with the 25,000 slabs and they're going for 1,000 apiece?
It's in the top 25.
I mean, we got to take that into account. I hate to say it, but I was thinking of volume, and ASM 300, I think, is still the most slabbed book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Turtles 1 right now is insane.
Oh yeah.
There's like
Which
20 Turtles 1. There's like 26 9/8 or something, and each one sells for like almost 70K at 9/8.
Yeah, but
you
that
know.
would be like 1.5 million for all of those. And then
Yeah.
one action would knock those out. So
Yeah,
that's why I don't know.
just the top issue action would do it. I don't know. It's a good one. And Anthony, what do you think of if you had all the slabs of one particular ending, one particular issue?
I say Batman 1. That's my pick.
What was the third choice?
Well, you can choose anybody.
Choose anyone.
Oh, anyone. I thought you had the three, and that was a trick question.
I mean, AF-15 wouldn't be bad because there's quite a few of those on the census.
Ton of
Yeah, the
those.
AF-15. I'd
That's
take
a pretty good
AF-15,
one.
I think.
AF-15 is a good choice because there's a lot of them.
All right,
It was
well,
a popular
I'll
title.
share my screen and then we can look at
If
this.
there's a Golden Age book that I think is on there that we're not even thinking about, that's worth a ton. Wiz 2.
Wiz 2?
Yeah,
Wiz
there's
1. Wiz
on the
1.
census.
To me, I just think it's
There's
got
enough
a lot
on
more.
the
It's
census,
harder to find though. Yeah.
All right, can you see that?
No.
I'll bring it up. Here we go.
Okay.
Cap 1's got a 9/8 out there. I know that.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say the cap was mine. All right. Doctor
So-
Strange right there. There aren't. How many are there?
Jeez Louise.
There
Well,
aren't that many. There's less Strange Tales 110 than there is AF-15s for
I wanted to hide this, but I don't think I can. Actually, I think I can do it. Let me.
I'm going to give you a break.
Sorry.
I'd like to have every Silver Surfer 4 just because I would take every one of them away from everyone.
Yeah.
That's exactly would be my choice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything. Forget about money. I'm taking every single Silver Surfer 4 there is, and I'm going to have them wallpaper my walls with it.
All right. So here's the.
Top 25.
Okay, so this is the top 25 market cap books. So this is total.
So the way they do it is kind of. I mean, I feel like there's a few faults in there, but it's okay. So this number in the middle right here. I don't know if you could see my thing moving around.
Yeah,
but
we can see it.
that's how many copies there are in the census CGC, and then the average grade.
Yeah.
And then they found out what the average grade costs, and then they multiplied that by however many copies there are to get the total number.
I think the TMNT price is low though.
At this point.
I mean,
An 8.0 for $7,000.
8's going for like 20.
Yeah.
Wow, Jesus!
I'm saying
I just saw an 8 sell for about
turtles are crazy, man.
I think I saw one just sell. A guy just paid. I think you're right. I think it was over 15 for an 8.0. I know that. And I
Well,
was
let's
like,
conservatively say 15.
yeah.
Now, one reason I don't like this
Market cap at 13.9 for a TMNT.
Yeah, one reason I don't like this this comparison though is, you could have 8 billion trillion toothpicks, and maybe there's a calculation for how much they're worth each one, and the sheer amount of them in the world would maybe trump everything. But who the hell would want that many worthless little tiny things? Because you got Marvel Comics doesn't add up for much, but there's only 63 of them. I don't know if that necessarily means that's a real good comparison.
Yeah, I mean, again, a 4.0 of Marvel Comics 1 would not sell for 125. It would sell for more for that. So, I mean, maybe we just take it the way it is.
Yeah, because
Oh,
All-Star
is that the average grade in the middle? Okay.
Yeah, All-Star 8 in a 3.86 would be more than 35. I feel like that would be in the 40s too.
And FF5 is now
Maybe.
going
That
for
book's weak.
$4,000 in a. Jesus Christ!
FF5 is on fire. That book is.
I've had multiple copies of that book, and I don't think I've ever paid over $1,000 for one. And I've had 4s, 3s, 5s. Yeah, that was years ago. I stopped dealing in the Silver Age.
FF5 is crazy right now.
We forgot about Giant X-Men 1.
A Jim 8340 for 6,500 would be a good deal today.
Giant size.
Yeah.
There. Cap 1. So
I have a comment from the
AF-15 got there. Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
Action 1 Tech
Man,
27.
there's 3,300 copies of that book on the census.
There's Cap 1. That's the one I thought would be.
That's an accurate grade too in price for that book, about give or take.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
close.
that's
Close. I mean, maybe a couple grand more, but
well,
it's pretty close.
I don't know. And we know this. I know this is Golden Age, and we are the Golden Guys, but we all will know what AF-15. I don't think it's moved as much in the last 4 years as much as the other books.
I don't know about 4 years, but
yeah, but that's
Heating
because
up again.
It like doubled and tripled.
Yeah, it priced itself out of the
went crazy.
Silver Age market. Yeah.
yeah, it's heating up again. I sold 2 last month in December.
I know. I saw
Yeah,
that. Good job. Congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah,
Ted.
thank you, man.
Do we
Oh,
wonder if
that was
Spawn? What if Spawn 1 is like 26? Just because everybody got one.
Oh.
If
mean,
the
the
Spawn movie comes out,
4 million of them at $50.
It'll make a difference.
I mean, it did change. They have it from 2015. There's a chart down here that's kind of cool. This is the one that has it. So number 1 5 years ago was Action 1, but over those 5 years, look how much Amazing Fantasy almost doubled, pretty much.
In the census?
No, doubled
Well,
How
it's
about-
only
how
when
about,
the
you
Army
know,
went
I
up
mean,
30.
Action 1's pretty stagnant. I mean, more AF-15s get graded probably, every week at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So maybe over time, Incredible Hulk 181 will actually keep going.
There's also something about this. This is very skewed, and I don't want to scare anybody, and you'll have to look like Charlie, and you'd be freaking out if I told you this, but there are a lot of AF-15 slabs that aren't in existence, that are on the CD
that's
set
true.
that don't exist, that have been cracked out, not resubmitted, and so one book may have 4 or 5 slabs numbers attached to it. It does.
Yeah, I think probably Hulk 181 is probably the biggest book for that too. That probably has more CPRs than anything.
Right, and that's one of the things I want us to take into an account when we say AF-15. They're going to tell you X number. There's however many they said on the census. There are probably 80% of what's out there, because I don't know anybody who's bought an AF-15 pre-2000 or pre-2010 slab and hasn't cracked it open and slabbed it again unless you had a really high grade. They all did it. Pressing became a lot more readily available. The one I'm shocked how low it was the Cap 1, because there are a lot of Cap 1s,
174.
Yeah, I mean that's a decent amount for a book that. But I guess you're right. Batman 1.
I think it's interesting. There's only 3 bronze books on there. It's Hulk 181, ASM 129, and Giant Size. So that's pretty impressive that 3 bronze books made this list, actually, and then 1 copper book.
129. Did you get that?
Yeah, we knew ASM 300 was going to be on there just because sheer number. Yeah.
2 copper books, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and ASM 300.
And then if you want to take a guess, so I looked at, I don't know if maybe there's people out there who haven't seen this site, but I love this site, cgcdata.com, where you could type in a title and an issue, and then you can find like, I don't know, give me a.
You want a rare one or?
Yeah, sure.
Do Jumbo Comics 69, first Matt Baker work.
Well, not that.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. It's the first Matt Baker work.
How about we'll do Journey into Mystery?
83. Okay.
I can't spell.
Do 85. How about that?
Yeah, we all love 85.
Go with Loki.
By the way, Anthony, my Journey into Mysteries are both 5.5s.
85. And then we'll do, let's see.
Yeah, I do want a Jim 83 this year, actually.
You want to, don't you have one?
No, I tried to buy one as the price was going, and I just never paid it. The price was going up faster than I was willing to pay for that book.
83.
Let me know what grade you're looking for. I know a guy with a few copies, and he's never advertises them, so he's a.
So you can see I did 83, and this was I did. Let me change this. Sorry.
It's okay.
Thought this. Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, that's good. So in 1 year, 83, Jim 83, 92 new copies graded. It's pretty crazy.
So do we think 90? So you got it.
Plus restored and signature and quality.
Yep. I think the signatures will stop. That won't ever happen again. I mean,
And
there's
then
nobody who you'd have sign it unless some idiot put Chris Helmsworth on it. I've seen it happen.
So
I've watched them. There is a slabbed yellow label first appearance of Black Widow signed by Scarlett Johansson. And I think that just ruined a book. But it's Scarlett Johansson, so if you want to spend a little extra time with her, go ahead.
You know, some of these people getting the book signed might know their market for these things. You know, celebrities or something that don't care.
This is the kind of celebrity book you get signed. You don't ruin a piece of comics history.
Which one is that?
Huh? It's The Boys, Dear Becky #1, signed by Aaron Moriarty.
Oh, nice.
You see it?
Yep.
It's got that back today.
Nice.
So
I have one celebrity signed. I have the first appearance of Phil Coulson, Battle Scars, signed. I brought a copy for him, and he signed one for me too. And CGC yellow labeled it, so they were there.
So check this out. So we got all, you could go all the way back, and this is a great tool for doing some investigation. If you want to wonder, like, I wonder if this copy has been, resubmitted a few times or whatever. Because with some of the Golden Age, oh God, I don't know why this is going crazy. Some of the Golden Age stuff, it can get, whoa. What is happening here? Sorry. You could get something submitted a few times. And this is a good tool to kind of check, because you could see like, in 2007, there was only one or two, and then you could check the next year, did they, add and get any more slabbed or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So
and is that the full census after that?
Yeah. So this is
a hell of a chart.
83 Journey in the Mystery, and it goes through, every year. It shows you all the different grades, and you can see it like climbing. Like if you look at some stuff is pretty funny. Like when the Deadpool movie got announced, you saw this massive spike of the New Mutants.
Yeah,
I bet I wonder if there's I guess.
Is there a Golden Age book that would have spiked due to something? I mean, how far back does that go?
2001.
Black Adam, maybe.
I was thinking
or Wonder
Shazam, Wiz 2.
Wiz 2, yeah.
Or Marvel Family 1 for Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that book pop up like at least once every couple weeks at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know a heritage auction that hasn't had
I've
that.
seen a few, I think, in the last couple months. I've seen them.
You can do All Star 8 too. Wonder Woman's been popular.
That was the other one I was thinking of was Sensation One. All the triple, the 3-1 Wonder Womans. I always say there are 3 Wonder Womans because you have to have the first title.
I bet you some of those Harvey PCH books have popped. There's tons of those, like Black Cat.
Chamber the
I bet you those are really popped in the last
19,
years.
or Black Cat 50. Yeah,
Because there's thousands of copies of those out there. I mean, they're just
it's Harvey.
tons of them.
All-Star 8. Here we go. So what date? When do you think it spiked?
2015, maybe.
I mean, this is slow. Look at this. I mean, like in 1 year in 2006, there was only like 4 graded.
Yeah. Oh, there's a spike.
I don't know. Not maybe.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a triple digit in there.
6.
Oh, this is All-Star 8. I was thinking.
60s.
Yeah, it's just moving up a few every month. That's it.
Yeah. Well, it's a harder book to find.
Then
And at this point, I mean, if you see an All-Star 8 raw, you'd be like, where did this come from? 120. Yeah, it's just steady.
I wish they
Well,
had
the last book I
graph.
found like that was a Batman 1, and it was literally in a barn. It was a barn find,
I've heard of cars found in barns.
right?
Comics. Yeah. That's
And,
happened here in
the
Nebraska
lucky-
all the time.
The thing about it is that there was a box right next to it that took a drip from the roof, and there was all Golden Age in it that were just black sludge, and I have no idea what those books were. It could have been a Detective 27 in there or whatever. I don't know, but these people.
So here the top. It also has the top submitted books.
No questions asked on that one.
Crazy.
I've been joking about that when someone says, I really don't want to get rid of my ASM 300. I said, you could, and I used to joke, I don't say this now. I said, if you lose one, you could find one on, I think you might find one anywhere. It's like, I
Amazing.
don't hunt for that book.
I can't believe Wolverine 1 was had so many.
The Frank Miller.
Yeah. 16,000.
Yeah, but that's been popular.
It was a big print run, those books. First of all, it's
submitted ever since CGC opened. People have been sending that one in.
yeah, and Frank, what are you gonna do? I mean,
Spawn 1.
it's not a
No,
joke.
which one is this? What's
So
this
this
list?
is
Top 500. Oh, most
500 most submitted, period, ever.
That's, it's funny. I've sent every one of those books in like the past month. I had a shipping case of Spawn 1, so I've sent in hundreds of those.
I've sent in a Wolverine 1 from '88, the Buscema.
Now, guess which year of these 500 is the oldest year
For those submitted books,
for the top 500 submitted books? What's the oldest year of the book?
19 what year was that?
74.
I was thinking I was gonna say Giant Size 1, or maybe I'm gonna go House of Secrets 92.
I'll say Showcase 4 or Amazing Fantasy 15.
Ooh,
Amazing Fantasy 15.
No, I
It's
think
volume.
I don't think there's a single thing past 70s.
That means there's 500 books people will submit before a Silver Age book
Well, on the top,
in the top 500.
I think it was 100. I don't know. Well, there is some old ones.
500, right?
I was gonna say there's got to be an FF.
Yeah, the 500. Yeah.
Yeah, the middle FFs have to be in there. The 48, 52, 45
gotta be.
run. There were a
Gotta
lot
be.
of those books.
There's got to be something silver in there. I can't imagine.
Yeah. So here we go. The first one,
48. There you go.
48.
FF.
Okay. Yeah.
6,000.
on the list. That's number 24.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that book out there.
I tell her I'm there, and I have mine, and if I find a better copy, I mean, It's just a swap. It's
Some of
not
these
even-
are
Got Iron Man. Iron Man 1.
That's there's a lot of those.
Omega Men 3. That's surprising. Like I wouldn't think that many have been put in.
First appearance of Lobo.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean,
Because there are thousands of them.
X-Men. X-Men 1.
Daredevil 1. Pretty impressive.
That's a good book.
And number 57.
52. FF52.
Yeah.
Rise Zero.
First Kingpin, yeah.
Surfer 1.
There's a lot of those.
Outcast 1.
That's 100.
God, I have a bunch of outcasts.
I think I've got a stack of those.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
Drew,
this-
you should submit them. Well, you bump that up the list.
Outcast 1 is worth nothing.
Right.
I know.
I had the whole run just because I liked reading it.
There was some hype at some point. So
Oh
maybe that's
yeah,
what
when
happened.
the cable show came out, yeah. But that fizzed.
Yeah, yeah.
63
I
appears
think
to
it's
be
worth like $35 in a 9.
Avengers 57.
Worth more out of the slab.
X-Force 2, I'm surprised it's not higher.
Surfer 4 made it. So how many can I have? 3,552?
So what's the oldest so far? Is it?
I think
Daredevil 1?
62. AF15. So
Nine,
far, I think.
Yeah.
What's 400 into 35? I'm responsible for over 1% of those Spawn 1.
Oh,
We
I'm
joke
kind of
about
proud of
Spawn.
that.
Yeah. Well,
Preacher 1.
yeah, there wouldn't be a 50s book. What was the highest print run in the 50s? The highest would have been
Well,
have to be-
they were higher than what you see from these print runs, but they just didn't survive.
right. I was trying to think what would be the highest print run. Would it be a Harvey probably, right?
From the 50s, Harvey or an Atlas, maybe an Atlas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll search for a 1950.
yeah, keep going. It's kind of fun.
Only 3. Let's see.
Nope.
Can you do
Nope.
a search of?
No
Fine.
1950s.
So there's no 19. Oh,
Nothing. You can't. Did you try to search?
Yeah, I tried 195.
Oh, nothing, huh? Dang.
Yeah, pretty sad. I would thought Showcase 4, but
That would have been in here or something.
Yeah, but number 500
Action.
in that list still has like 1,300 copies, though, right?
Does it? What's?
so the
What
one,
if?
what if?
what
I'm
if
surprised.
one?
It doesn't matter what it is.
There's not 1,200 copies of Showcase 4 on the census, so
No.
have to have at least 1,201 to make the list, I guess.
Yeah, totally. You're right.
I can look.
Oh, there's Sensation Comics 1.
I feel like there's a lot of Silver Age books with 1,200 on the census, though.
Yeah.
Probably.
I wish they could do that by era because I'd love to see what's the most slab Golden Age book.
I mean, some of those EC books are probably, well,
Oh, like a Tales from the Crypt or something?
Wow.
Or-
That's a lot lower than I thought it was.
How many?
509 total.
What
for
book is
Showcase
that?
4. Showcase 4.
Showcase?
509. Wow.
That's still
How
a
many-
lot. Sounds like that's 56, right? So
Can you check Black Cat 50? There's a lot of those.
I would say that or EC book like Shock 6 or like Tales 34 or something like that. Probably pretty high.
Is it one word or two?
Shock Suspense Stories is one word.
Black Cat's
No. Black Cat Mystery. It's Black Cat Mystery, 3
Yeah.
words.
Oh, okay.
do you have to type in
You can just type Black Cat 50. It'll
Yeah.
probably come up.
Sometimes this site was a little touchy. I think
Yeah,
they,
probably 110 copies on the census or something. It's probably right around 100.
93.
93, yeah.
oh, I'm trying
Yeah,
to-
but see, that's for for PCH. That's a very common book. It's almost at 100, which we considered one of the most common PCH books.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's
What was
like,
the one you wanted?
I don't know, like a Shock Suspense Story 6.
Give me a Harvey book that's popular.
Shock probably has 200 on the census, 250.
how many of that life secrets with the pearl necklace are there graded?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Suspense. What number is it?
6. I bet you there's like over 200, or probably maybe close to right around 200. Shock suspense stories, one word.
Oh, okay.
The pearl necklace one.
One
Parbo
word?
found those.
Yeah.
Yeah, shock
Did he?
suspense stories.
Yeah, because I had
No,
I had a short
suspense
box.
stories
full.
is one word.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Stories is one word.
When I
Suspense
first started
stories?
sending into CGC, I was
Everyone
getting
keeps
those back
talking, so I
9.2s, 9.4s, even
No, it's not
9.8s.
gonna come up.
Right.
Suspense stories is one word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Get the shock picture if you want.
I'll just do shock.
I think it'll come up with just shock thick.
There we go. EC. Which number? 236.
Do you think there's more 22s than there are 6s, or what? Or less?
I don't know. I think all the ECs are. I'm just trying to think of an EC that's really popular that people would send in. I'll bet you Crime Suspense Stories 22 is probably about the same. I would think. Those are the two biggest, right?
I think so for shock suspense.
I mean, you get a Crime Patrol, but gets too early, and there's not as many out there.
Right. What about a Tales from the Crypt? Are any of those popular?
Suspense.
What about Detective Comics like book you guys can think of early? Like, I don't know. It's got to be something. There's some of those mega keys have over 100+ issues.
Mm,
Well, I have another quiz. So
okay.
I checked 6 gold books keys. Marvel 1, Batman 1, Tech 31, Cap 1, Mask 1, and Sensation 1. Which one got submitted the most last year?
What are the cases?
You put the Mask 1 with all those?
Let me put
Yeah.
this. Let me make a little banner about this. So, what are they? Which ones?
Okay. We have Batman 1.
Let me just say, which was submitted most in 2020?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Batman
And choice
1.
one. Choice A, Batman 1.
Yep. Then we got Cap 1.
Good call.
And we got Marvel 1,
Okay.
Mask 1, Sensation 1, and Tech 31.
That is pretty. I'm going to go with the Mask 1, honestly.
It's submitted the most?
Yeah, this last year. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like it because I think the other ones were already being sent in for a while where the masks weren't. I think a lot. I mean, I've sent one mask in myself, and I got another one from somebody who had it sent in. So I personally have had my hands on 2 mask ones that have been sent in last year. So yeah, I'll go with Mask 1. Plus, I'm partial to it. So.
And then what do you think is the lowest?
Marvel 1 would be lowest for me. And most submitted
Last year, 2020.
See, I don't know. Batman 1, I feel like there's not like all of a sudden a bunch of raw copies of that getting sent in.
But I'm gonna say Cap 1 because there's more issues of that than there's how many are there? Like 200 of those?
Yeah, 270 or something.
Yeah. This Sensation 1 popular.
What do you think, Jeff?
I think Sensation 1. I mean, this is just Sensation 1 or Tech 31 for me, but Sensation 1 I'll go with, and then Marvel 1 for least submitted. I don't know. It's a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cap 1, Marvel 1.
Okay, and then how many? What do you think is the highest and lowest?
On the census, total census.
Oh, geez.
Out of those,
Yeah.
Mask 1 probably the lowest.
I say Batman 1's the highest.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was gonna say Batman 1 over Cap 1.
Mask One is probably the lowest. I think there's probably like 50 copies on the census, maybe.
And I think there's almost there's a decent amount of Sensation ones, so I don't
Tech
know.
31 is probably next to lowest.
Yeah.
Oh, you think there's 50 masks ones?
I think there's
Okay.
40 or 50, 40-ish probably, I think. Yeah, I don't think Mask is as rare as people think it is. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's at 60, but I think it's probably like 40 to 50 range.
I'll say Batman's the highest and Marvel 1's the lowest then.
Marvel One has what, 70 copies or something?
I don't know. I've been looking for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Not that many.
I looked at the last time I looked was when that 9.4 pedigree went up for sale the first time, which used to be an 8.5, and then it was a 9, then went to a 9.4. You all remember that book?
Yeah.
So when I followed the history of that book for 15 years or 18 years or whatever, I noticed that when I first looked at it, there was like 35 on the census, and then it jumped over a course of time. So, but not a lot. Again, not a lot. I think it might have hit 40, 45. So I like
All right,
Bub.
you ready?
Bub. I'm gonna put up people here. Good having Bub here. Bub's comic right there. I love Chris Barrett. Very easy. It says Mask One. It's easy to spell.
If you're ready, let me know.
Yeah.
Highest year. I love DS's comments here. I was just joking about this off camera. Definitely, probably the highest. The only one that's up there now is probably God of Thunder 2. I've heard my buddy who's a presser says I've gotten multiple copies of that per day. Which usually he says when I always tell this is a little trick. You're friends with a real presser, like a presser with a commercial business that focuses on pressing. Ask them, what do you book? Are you seeing the most of? And it's ask them what what era, and they'll usually tell you. So
that's the Gore cover, right?
here's Jambo.
Top.
No, not the Gore the Butcher cover. I don't think that's not.
No, it's this one.
That's Thor 6, I think, or something like that, right?
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, it's this one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just pulled
that
this
cover
out.
Too. The Gore the God Butcher cover where he was just by himself. I sold
Yeah.
for peanuts.
See, Gore is right here in the background. If you've never seen the Ribic, which by the way, you have quite a bit of the original art of that run.
Oh yeah. And the Gore pages like all went crazy on the announcement.
Yeah, I before the announcement, there was one, and I was like, I should buy that book. I should buy that art, and then I saw it moved up, and I'm like, all right, that's what happens. So what?
All right, so Marvel 1 was submitted 0 times in 2020, and then Sensation only 3 times, and then Tech 31 only 5, and then Batman 6, and then there's a tie for the top.
Oh, wow.
And Mask 1 were both submitted 8 times.
All right, I got
Nice.
both right. I sandwiched it. Yeah, I said, well, I don't count because I can't say, but I did say it's either going to be Mask or Cap, and I did say Marvel 1 didn't have any.
And then on the total ever slabbed, Batman 1 is 272, Cap number 1, 177. Then we go to Sensation 1 with 98, Tech 31, 93, and then there's a tie for Marvel 1 and Mask 1 with only 63 copies.
Check up one for me here. I want you to check out a book here, and Daring Mysteries 1.
There was one submitted this year. I know that.
Okay.
And then
I have to ask. I gotta ask. I mean, if I say Our Flag number 5, you're gonna laugh at me. So.
and then the last quiz is going to be
Okay.
let's see, here we go. There was something like over CGC's existence, there's something like 5, almost 6 million copies or submissions ever. What era do you think had the most? Like 10 years, you know. So we got 2020, they count that as one era. The 2010 through 2019,
Yeah.
2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s.
Oh, okay. What decade? Okay.
Yeah, decades, sorry. Era
Um,
is not really good description.
most submitted.
Yeah, I would say 10 through 19.
80s. Has to be 80s.
Well, here we go.
I'm feeling the 80s too here. The 300 Spidey and the New
I'm gonna go
Mutants
with
and
10
Spidey
through 19.
300.
That ASM 300 throws everything out
New
of order.
Mutants 98. Right, that's
Yep.
in the 80s too.
I feel like the
right?
models are getting sent in like crazy exponentially.
True.
So
Is there an
That's a good-
awful?
But you got to pick a decade, right? Not a time frame. So
Right, right.
Like the 90s, 1000s. Right?
And Anthony, let me see that star publications you brought up. What is that?
Oh, that's some stuff I got in today from CDC and All Famous Police.
Yeah, that's LB Cole, right?
Oh yeah, there
Yeah.
you see it.
Yeah.
It's
And
funny
pre-code,
that they were.
you know, it's not pre-code horror, but it's pre-code ultra violence, I guess you call
yeah,
it.
and I like this one on that title. LB Cole went away with the circles and used police badges for the star publications emblem and the issues number. I like that little touch. Like sheriff badges up top.
That is-
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Usually they're circle for star, but he used the police badge for
Oh
the.
yeah, he used kind of a Lone Star.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The Texas
Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers kind of badge. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was a cool touch on those crime ones he did.
Yeah, ASM 252, Secret Wars 8, Wolverine 1, both of them. It's got to be 80s.
All right, so. Yep.
Oh, that's a cool one right there, DS.
Ooh,
That's nice.
ooh. Let's see that one, Anthony.
Strange Mysteries.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, nice, right?
Yeah.
Too. What's the grade on that? 4.5.
4.5 with
Off
off-white.
white.
And isn't that Superior Comics? Was the
Yeah, Superior.
yeah. Forget
You got a
about
price on it already. Tell DS what the price is. I know he's going to ask.
500.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's reasonable price. Yeah,
I am the king of reasonable prices.
He is.
I know that. I picked my spots carefully because my budget is small compared to my wants. So
Yeah.
and I just blew like however many thousands on that Fantastic Four 1 too. So I'm trying to keep a little bit of a safety cushion of money and not go too much lower. So
This was something I got back today that kind of like surprised me because
Simon Kirby
I was
mentioned.
looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a Simon and Kirby, and it's like from 1945, and it's Gil Kane.
Oh,
Kane.
and it's 45, right?
Yeah,
That he didn't start working until around that time.
right. It has to be like some of his,
Yeah,
his
because
things,
he didn't
right?
go to Marvel until 48 or 40. He didn't go to Atlas until I think 48 or 47. He went there. So, and he started it. Yeah.
So you got answers there, Knights?
Yep. You
Yeah, I'm going with modern on this contest. I'm just going to go with the 10 through.
share, show this number.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, I got to do this. Sorry. Bad. Comics from the 2020s.
I was surprised by that. That seems like a lot already for just.
It's all Venom 3.
No,
Oh,
it's all those variants and
Yeah.
and store incentives that people are getting in, and
That decade has only had 1 year so far, and they're at 131,000 books.
Yeah.
And one thing to consider is a lot of times Anthony just brought up a good thing. A lot of people are ordering books that are pre-ordering their books slabbed already.
Yeah.
That did not happen 10 years ago. I promise you that.
What's
I
the
didn't even know that was possible.
qualified?
If you extrapolate that, like 2019, 2020, are pretty similar, I would say. 19, that's going to be 131,000, and you're looking at probably 100,000 for most of the tens decade, I would think. So I think that's like 20, probably close to 20% of the entire submissions have come from the tens. That's what I think. We'll see.
It's interesting that it was a COVID year and how many signatures they had in house, pretty much for the most part.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good point.
The qualifieds is probably
Qualifieds are probably signatures that.
yeah.
Well, qualifies are going to be incompletes, like missing stamps or coupons.
Yeah, but I'm
or-
trying to think what in 2020s, why would there be
Well, some of these
No.
are Silver Age books and Bronze Age.
Yeah, they're just submitted in the 2020s.
No,
I thought you were talking about 2020 books.
Oh.
no, this is comics from the 2020s, published in the 2020s.
Published in the 2020s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Comics from the 2020s. Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of considering what 259 books.
It's got to be
would qualify.
signature, right? It's got to be some weird signature thing.
Signature or some weird like.
Pop on staple will give you a green label too.
Yeah.
For some
CSF.
ridiculous reason.
You could have had a bad pressing.
What about the if you take out the? Isn't there some code or something for like a online
I don't know.
I don't
online
know if they do that
version
anymore.
of the book? Oh, okay.
I think they haven't done. I think the first ones to do that was Marvel Now, and it stopped pretty early because it never worked.
It's
Yeah,
got to
that's
to
cool.
get restored back though of a modern of something from this year.
Yeah,
3 books that somebody put a marker on though from last year. That came out.
yeah.
Six.
Well, it says books evaluated 3 and then total 6. So I don't know what that means.
I think that means different. Like 3 books. Like since there's 6, there could have been 2 of
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
1 and 2 of whatever book. So here we go. 2010s. You were right, DS. Massive.
Yeah, it's almost $1 million bucks.
There's your variant era.
Well, it's over $1 million because if you add the signatures, 1.3, 1.4 million.
Yeah, it says it down there at the bottom. The total 1 million.
3,730 people got a 10. Has anybody gotten a 10 on this ever?
Jesus Christ. I haven't gotten
No.
10 years.
Yeah,
I think you're right though about the total. I don't know. Some of these numbers are kind of weird.
yeah, because 13,000 qualified. Well, the 2010s they would be qualified. A lot of qualified.
Well, did they give, no, they don't give qualified for the Marvel value or for the digital stamp missing. You just note it.
I mean, are there really? So this book's evaluated. Is that
65,000 different issues,
Yeah, I guess so.
Were
I guess that
issues.
could be true. Yeah, I
and
guess.
then 917 were of those 300,000 were probably ASM. What said in the 210s?
Right.
Well, Walking Dead, right, was 2000 and 2, right? Walking Dead was 2002 or
No,
2.
it's-
That's right. Not 12. I was thinking 12%.
Yeah.
All right. Then.
12 was their 10-year anniversary, but
Yeah.
Saga's
2010.
up there.
Yeah, Saga. A lot of image stuff, probably.
Yep, a lot of image. Now the 2000s.
The books evaluated has dropped significantly because the last one was 65K. So there must have been all those different variants. or something.
Variants. Yep.
Yeah.
That's variant pre-ordering. Yep.
I'll bet you the bulk of the 2010s are from the second half of that decade too,
Oh yeah.
or from the last couple of years of it even.
Yeah. And 90s. 21K.
Yeah, there's just so many 90s books printed.
Yeah.
It beat the to this one though. That's barely.
Well, and then probably the reason being is let's just throw X-Men 1 in there. There are 7.9 million copies of that were printed.
God, and I'm surprised at how many restored.
Yeah.
181.
And
Two-
again, restored, that doesn't mean they'd actually put restoration. Somebody could have put a little mark on it or
It's a very
Yeah, but
small
I mean-
percentage of total.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a small percentage.
But still, someone is, probably trying to rip someone off
Yeah, I bet you it's all most
217 times.
It could also have been a kid who owned it and color touched it. Like I color touched my books when I was a kid just to make them look nicer to myself.
I'm responsible for quite a bit of color touch on a few of my books.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so it could have just been a kid who did it.
You know, someone's walking around with a bunch of JD books with my
Damn it.
initials on the
It was
inside.
771 in the 80s. Wow.
Here we go with the 80s.
Pretty solid total.
And again, the
Wait,
book
go
evaluated
90s again for a minute here, because I'm thinking X-Men 266 and all those other ones. But go up. Let me see. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. All right, I just want to make sure. All right, nothing crazy.
It's crazy the multiple issues though, because there's only 16, almost 17,000 different issues.
Yeah.
And 750,000 total books. That's like what 50 of each on an average, something like that. For each on average.
We could probably think about that and say 250, 298, 299, 300, all those Wolverine, the 4 Frank Miller run.
Yeah. Dark Knight, Watchmen 1.
Watchmen.
So many X-Men's.
Yeah, there's a lot of X-Men.
266. All the X-Men, the 80s. Spawn.
70's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that the qualified isn't way higher, because that was the era of the Marvel stamp.
This beat the 80s.
Much higher percentage of
74 to 77 was Marvel stamp, right?
Yeah.
Or 74 to 75, really.
That's
and then
a lot of qualified.
it came back.
Restored is pretty high too.
Whew.
That's some people touching up them. I've seen more restored Marvel Spotlight 5s than I've ever seen before in the last couple of years. A lot of shirt.
Percentage of, I think, in these, these high grades are starting to drop big time.
Well, if you have a 10 from the 70s, Jesus.
Look at the percentages of these. Well, I mean, it's still pretty low, only, 9.8, 89%. Holy crap.
Well, yeah, because
nobody's reading it. Yeah.
Here's another thing we didn't think about. In 2016, 16, or 17, when did they start the
that doesn't make sense to me.
The grade thing? No, only graded if it's a 9.6 or higher, or what
Pre-screen.
Pre-screen. The pre-screen didn't start, but when the pre-screen started, that's the big difference.
Now, what is this percentage though? I don't understand. Like
80.
What I think it's what percentage? Or universal maybe. No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's weird.
Wait, hang
It's
on.
weird.
Okay, well, we'll ignore that. All right, so now we're going back to the 60s. Still high.
Pretty solid numbers. A lot of restored on that one now.
Yeah, we haven't hit restored. We're about to hit restored, and maybe they'll add conserve on the next one.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's still only 5% of the total, or less.
Yeah. 50.
Oh, we dropped way off.
Jeez.
I dropped off the cliff.
Boom. But look at the number. So this 19,000 different books. That was only 1990 and above were the only ones that got higher than that. And that's amazing that there's that many different books with this low of a number, the 167. That's a lot of different books. Then we got pretty low.
Not much lower.
Yeah, it's pretty close though to the 50.
Right. That's a low for in just what I'm thinking, the amount of books published from 1940 to 1949, is like, this is like how many copies did they ship out of like your average book in 1941 or something. Like, wasn't capping like 1 million copies or something?
Yeah, something like that. I think comics were pretty popular. I think they did pretty good print runs on a lot of those bigger.
Yeah, they did.
Mm.
Could you go up real quick just to
Yeah.
hair? Just want to see the qualified comparisons
Oh.
and restored comparison.
Of sure. So yeah,
Just
we
40s
got-
and 50s. I'm just curious.
so
You think Stan signed 560 of those 571 40 ones?
more qualified for.
I mean, who else would have signed
Double
signature
the rest out.
in the 40s? I mean, not many. Joe Sinnott. I'm trying to think.
I mean, I got a Stanley Golden Age Sig. I'll count
Yeah,
for one of those.
I have mine.
Yeah, don't you have a Black Rider with a signature?
That's 50s. For 40s, I have.
Oh, you have
Right.
40s?
Yeah, I have he's signed my cap too, which he's got absolutely nothing to do with.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Yeah, he didn't start till the next one.
What about the 30s?
Oh,
That's gonna be the biggest number for sure.
9.
Oh, only 9,000 total. Wow.
Yeah.
That seems actually low. I mean, there's not a lot of 30s books, but I would think there'd be more than 9,000 total.
Yeah.
Well, you're only talking in the 30s, you're only talking 1936 on, right?
Maybe older, 35.
Wouldn't it,
It's funny.
oh, maybe 35, yeah. A lot of those early books from 34 would have been too big, and pulps would. My theory is that once CGC starts grading pulps, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah, because there's a 20s here too. It says right. If you go down low, so 1920s for a second.
36.
Oh, good. Yeah, these are those platinum. Yeah, those little, like those
This
Look at the
one,
1900s. Wow.
ash can sizes and platinum books. Yeah.
I'm surprised by this number.
Yeah, somebody came upon a warehouse find a spring-heeled jack. That's what that is.
I was thinking the Sherlock Holmes run. You know.
Oh, here we go. The total 5 million.
Congratulations, CGC.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
5 million at average price $30 a pop.
Yeah, and then
I'm no fool.
$2 million.
so here we
Six.
go. 500 most submitted books from other publishers. Spawn.
There it is. Thank God for Spawn. Saga. Yep, that's Saga.
Saga.
Thief of Thieves? Love that book.
Walking Dead's a lot of Walking Dead's. Wow.
John Byrne's Next Men. That's that Hellboy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paper Girl.
Paper.
Paper Girls.
Yeah, a lot
Bloodshot.
of that's
Where was Rye 1?
it was pretty high up. It was like top 5.
Yeah.
Rise Zero was 2.
Rye 0, that's what I'm talking about.
First Bloodshot.
Now, it would be funny if they did how many glossy versus not.
Harbinger one kind of surprises me. I didn't think there were that many printed, honestly.
There's how many qualified? Look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need the coupon.
Everybody cut that coupon.
I got a copy right here without a coupon.
Although they probably wouldn't send it in, I don't think.
Sometimes you
No,
don't.
they all did.
And here, we go.
Every Harbinger one I see at a con, green label.
Here we go. Turtles won only 962 copies.
Of the
I assume they're talking about the first. Yeah, they're talking about the first one, the first printing.
Well, didn't they only print 3,000 of them? So that's a
Right.
huge percentage of them.
yeah,
2,000? 2,000 or 3,000?
3,000.
in a recent interview,
It is huge.
Laird said that the original plan was to produce 5,000, but they could only afford 2,000, and they had to borrow the money to get the rest of it done. And everybody thought it was a dumb idea. And I heard, there's a great story about that. I don't remember where I watched it.
So how many is it? 5,000?
It's
No.
3,000. 3,000.
Three?
I can afford. I think it's 3,200 actually, to be exact.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Redneck
3,000.
1. People slamming Redneck 1. Oof.
You know how many first prints of the first Dungeons and Dragons book was made?
What year?
1974.
Okay.
500.
1,000.
Okay. There's a 77 one. I had the 77 blue cover.
Oh yeah, those that can be worth a lot.
Well, I'm gonna go. I told you I'm gonna go to that store and take pictures of everything there for you.
And then we got the Batman, the DC. I was surprised that Killing Joke was that high.
How many?
Omega 3 is number 3. Wow.
Now this I don't think they're considering first print only because, well, they probably are. Batman Adventures 12, Omega Man 3, Teen Titans 2.
Yeah, they are because I saw there was a third print in there in a separate.
Oh, there is, yeah. Because I was going to say a lot of people grade the later print of Killing Joke as well.
Look at this, The Damned number 1.
Oh, yeah.
3,000.
Look how many 10s there are for that. 300. There's 373 10.0s.
Is that the Bang? Is that Batwang?
Yeah, Batwing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, a
That's
third of the books are 9.9 or better.
Oh, and there's another 310. There's another 300 of them for the variant.
Well, when you do cardstock covers and people never open the books and send it directly in, you're going to get a lot of pristine copies.
That's Batman penis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, and then Marvel, of course. No surprise. I'm actually a little surprised about the Carnage because I didn't think people cared that much, but I guess they wanted to sell them. 18,000.
Surprised there's no 10-Os of that book. Surprising.
Yeah, really.
Which one? Giant size?
No.
First
Spidey 361.
361.
I think that 99. There is a 5 cover of Spidey 361. I wonder if that was the 99, one of the 99s.
There's a 5 cover, but there's a 6 or 7 cover.
There's a 7 cover. I've seen that on CGC. Remember, I think there was a whole thing about that where at one point is it done on purpose? You know?
Yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 covers actually.
Yeah, 7 wraps. So you had to know as soon as that book came off that it was 14.
Yeah, I don't trust that on modern books. I feel like you could put that together and you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like. I mean, double covers in the 70s. I have about small handful of them. A lot of Kill Ravens and stuff like that. But I really question.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there's an eBay seller. I don't know who the seller is, but they have like half of their listings. They have a lot of listings. Half of them are double covers, and they're slabbed. So nobody comes across that many double covers of different issues from different publishers, and I just feel like it's contrived to have that many slabs with double covers for like Copper Age books. So it makes me think that you could contrive that and slip it by CGC if you were careful enough about the staple holes, because I feel like the printing was uniform enough that you could get a bunch of copies that would line up pretty perfectly. So I don't know. It's sketchy to me when it's a newer book with more than 2 covers. When you have like septuple covers or something, it's really sketchy to me.
So if you take the top 10 Marvels and you add up all those total submissions, that is roughly the same amount of submissions as from 1940 to 1950. Well, 1940 to 1949 books ever submitted.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. So you take, you put all the Golden Age slabs together from 10 years in one room. You could fill that same room with all the.
That's why I tell people, like, when I'm collecting PCH, and most of them are around 20 on the census, and they still come up on a regular basis, that I don't miss out on. I'll see another one soon. And that's with 20 on the census. These books have multi-thousands on the census. I feel like you can just be patient for like a couple weeks and get the perfect copy for your collection.
You can find.
I have a lot of patience for these books because there's so many of them out there, almost daily.
One of them for each year of the 40s Golden Age.
Yeah.
I will say this, and this is just, I'm going to bring it up again because I always do. when you look at how many are on the census and stuff like that, and if you see an Adventures Comics 34, don't pass it up like I did, because you'll spend the next 14 years of your life trying to find another one. Or an R Flag 5. You will spend the next lifetime trying to find one.
That's why I say to people like Bub's Comics, ditch anything from this, top 10. Wow,
Yeah.
the market's great right now.
Look, he
and then buy some awesome.
Look at what he just put in here. No, Bub, I love you to death. I'm scared to get my Batman and Adventures 12 graded because I'm sure it's a 969 and I'm tempted to sell it. I'm tempted to tell you to sell it.
Because then
you can get it tomorrow and save you money and go get yourself a beautiful Jungle Girl cover.
Yeah, then you can get it later on,
With that kind of money, you might be able to get yourself an early single-digit jumbo with Sheena on it, or maybe even a Sheena 1, high grade or something like that. Or,
or Terrors of the Jungle 9.
Let's see this one
with the glowing blonde.
Oh yes, one of the best LB Cole covers.
She's full figured and she's glowing and she's blonde and she rules the indigenous people. She's
what's the grade on that?
Is that a 5.5?
You know it.
Yeah, that's a good grade on that.
Oh,
don't laugh, DS. You know I'm interested.
5.5.
That's a tough one of the tougher ones to get in that run. You're showing a lot of LB Cole tonight. I
love LB Cole.
Yeah, I dig it. I didn't know you liked LB Cole that much.
Oh my god, yeah, love him.
Well, if you
look
have
at those boots
too, hook me up. I need a mask too.
I love her.
I need a mask too for like half of FMV. That's what I need.
All right, so Miss Americas. Do you guys like that kind of cheesy stuff like that?
It depends. I mean, I know people that do collect the Maryland that hunt the Maryland cover of Miss America, and they all
Patsy Walker, right?
Patsy Walker and stuff
the
like
Patsy
that.
Walker stories in them.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I have a woman around the corner here who actually, she might be selling a bunch of them, but she's got a stack of them. She even said, she goes, my parents smoked and they were kept right there. And they've some with literal, I don't mean to.
What is she actually doing to this record? She's trying to listen to it by holding it to her ear.
She got her ear pierced. She's trying to see if she could spin it around with her ear.
And then there's some, Mediterranean looking guy, waiting to hit on her. Why is it always the Mediterranean looking guys?
Well, that's what they do. Something about those Greeks. I don't know.
Italians, Greeks. Well, everybody around here, they're all, Irish and Italian. It's or Italian and Irish. It's all very. And myself, I'm Greek and white. So
between a good article, there was an LB Cole article I read that he was the most in-demand cover artist from 1940 by everybody, and apparently Stan Goodman said absolutely not.
He didn't like him.
He wanted too much.
Oh yeah, he probably didn't want to pay him.
Didn't want to pay him because he was so cheap. Yeah. He'd rather pay the teenagers to do. Oh, there's Zigra, the Jungle Princess. Those are really good books. The white cover on those things, they tend to shine really good. Those are good. What do you got?
Do you see what it is?
Let me see. Number
5.5.
5.5 again. Yeah, you all laugh, but I'm Sammy Hagar. I can't slab 55. That's all I have.
GPA once, and on just some random bronze books or whatever, and I came to the conclusion that 5.5 was the black sheep of grades, because almost invariably the prices go from 5.0 and then they stay the same or even drop for 5.5, and then they go back up for 6.0 and they continue up. And it's nobody wants a 5.5. The prices on 5.5s always drop out. and it's makes me feel like 5.5 is not a very popular grade. I don't know.
Right. It's the number one grade I end up getting or buying. When I bought that Chamber of Chills, that one was a 5.5. Then I bought the Tales of the Crypt 32. That was a 5.5. Journey to Mystery 85 is 5.5.
Yeah, I think
Avengers 2, Avengers 3, my Avengers 2, 3, and 5 are all 5.5.
I'll tell you, my favorite Golden Age grade to get is a 5.0 or a 5.5. I love getting that. Now, obviously, higher grades are awesome. Lower grades are okay, but I really am happy when you think something's going to be like a 4.5 and it comes back 5.0. I really like that.
Witch's Tales. Which one is that?
5.5.
Number 5.
Bondage is.
What about that's a good one? Is that who did that one?
Huh? That looks like Powell or
Bob Powell.
yeah, Bob Powell.
Yeah,
Dick Donahue.
nice.
Rudy Pelays.
Nice. Yeah,
There's a guy getting strung up. There's a guy in the stocks and the blondes and shackles on the floor. So you got triple bondage.
Rudy Palace has some good stuff in the Super Mystery one. That's pretty cool.
A lot of 5.5s here for you.
Nice. I'll have to take a look.
Your horny number.
Yep, that's what it is.
You're horny for 5.5.
Here we go. What do you got here, DS? Do you want me to bring that up?
That's nice.
This one?
I mean, Knights. Sorry.
I do.
Ooh, is
not really working right for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, that's that ugly. Man, look at that one.
Strange Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's an Ajax, right?
Ajax, yeah.
Oh, well, what's the grade on that? Above
4.0.
That's a high grade for anything, Ajax.
Yeah, especially with a really dark cover like this one.
Yeah, that's a higher grade. If you don't, those of you that don't know, if you sneeze on an Ajax, or you can't sneeze on anything now, but if you dust past a Ajax, it'll fall apart. They're the worst. Farrell books. Ugh.
Yeah, I think for PCH books, I think 4.0 to 6.0 is mid grade.
I'm opening this up.
6.0 I would consider high grade. So yeah, 4.0 is real tough.
So is anybody going to smaller shows in their area? I mean,
We have one in on the 23rd. We have one in Kansas. I might take a look at. Not too far. I'm waiting to see how many of the Midwest dealers are going to be there. But I think that's where I think I can get the best deals if they do it, because I think some of the bigger shops will do that, the ones that don't do online. But I will say this, a lot of places have gone online. I mean, Anthony, you've been online for at least 7 years. So
what?
How long have you been online? 6-7 years?
97.
Yeah, he was the first.
So 8 years.
Know this now.
I don't even know how old I am anymore. I literally screwed up what year it was by thinking it was 2019. I'm like, what are you? what are you, 5? And he's like, no, I'm 9. I'm like, when did you?
I'm just getting geared up for SDCC this year. I'm excited. NYCC, Baltimore. It's all going to happen, guys.
That's optimistic.
I meant to ask you, any word about ECC?
I don't know. I haven't got my money back still. So
what, in February?
Oh no, I don't know when.
Emerald
ECC.
City?
It's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
I still have my money for 2 years now. Going to go on.
This is a good shape.
Reed's not going to do anything until after June.
Yeah, I'm not excited to do any big show. Period.
They told me they were pushing Chicago back to December or something.
Yeah, C2E2 is in December, which I'm sorry. Ugh.
Mark Fitch just emailed me. He said he was laid off.
Really?
Yeah.
We can use him at mainframe.
Hey JD, show my screen one.
You know what? Call him. He's looking for work.
I might.
He's looking for a job right now. If you want him to work for you, I like Mark a lot. I always liked Mark.
I
would hire him if he didn't live so far away.
All right, so we got this.
It's like a office manager.
So here's the golden age, just these two, all the way from 1940 to 1959. So, you know,
We're including the monster of Marvel in there.
of all comics.
Hmm.
And it's amazing the content there. We could go, you know, I feel like we could keep talking about new topics in the golden age.
That's why I love it when I say, what are we talking about this week, Knights?
Yeah.
Because you get all that research now.
It's just this that survived, I guess.
I wasn't going to ask this here, but somebody asked me an opinion. A pretty well-known comic artist from the Bronze Age asked me a question, and I answered it. He's like, "You're right," and it's really an opinion question. But the most underrated Silver Age or Bronze Age, or even early Gold, most underappreciated comic personality in there, and I threw. I don't know who do you guys think is underappreciated of that era?
From when?
Let's do a 20-year span. Let's do 55 to 75. Stop at Golden Age because underappreciated Golden Age is going to start a war.
Underappreciated book
Or any either artist or writer.
Oh.
Tough one.
Underappreciated artist or writer from the golden age.
Well, no, not necessarily Golden Age. Because the only reason I'm not going to say Golden Age because that always starts a war. But the other, it does because you get people that say
I'd say Gil Kane.
See, I think he gets his credit. I don't think Archie Goodwin does.
I don't know this one.
It's just one of those things. All these Bronze Age artists that we were talking to about doing a show.
Archie Goodwin, the writer.
Mm-hmm. I think if it wasn't for his writing, you probably wouldn't have.
Well, barely any writers even get any recognition.
Well, that's the other part. That was actually what was thrown back in my face. Saying, of course, you pick a writer.
Alan Moore, Frank Miller, who's
they're not underrated. Al Moore's considered.
No, I'm saying like
Frank
Ron Wilson. Maybe Ron Wilson.
Don't even know a writer, comic writers. It's like those two guys.
Ron Wilson, the artist.
Yeah, do you think he's underappreciated?
No,
or at all. Shouldn't be appreciated at all.
Never heard of him.
Ron,
Mike Grell and Norm Brayfield.
Ron's good, but he's
still pumping stuff out right now, isn't he? Like pretty darn well.
Yeah, I'm having him. His art rep is coming to my show on Sunday because I'm doing my own show on Sunday.
I have a question for Anthony. Do you and Guru? I don't know if Ron Wilson has a style. He's got a mimic. It's not like you can look at a piece and say, "Well, that's a Ron Wilson."
I know for sure he's not listening, so I'll just say this: he was a house artist and he was prolific and he was he was capable and he must have met his deadlines because he got work.
He got a lot of work. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think who could be underappreciated. Who do you think, Anthony? I mean, you have a lot of knowledge in the art.
In the 70s, early 70s,
55 to 75, you said.
Because then I'm going to go to Golden Age, and
oh god,
that's too much of a span. I mean, you got that dead zone from the late Golden Age, and then you got the advent of the heroes, and then you got Bronze Age continuity, and it's just like three different.
This is exactly what the question that was posed to me by these guys that drew from Marvel and DC in the 70s and 80s, and they said, appreciate the most underappreciated was Archie Goodwin, but when they come down to artists, everybody says Gil Kane, and I agree. But when it comes down to Golden Age, I still, and I hate to say it, I'm torn between Manili and Doolin, both Joes. So I'll just say I'm going to say Joe.
Just to cover both.
Yeah.
Well,
not Simon. He's appreciated.
He again, that if you go in that mid 50s era, I mean, and the people that collect and know what the art is, anything that comes up is highly competed for as far as Manili. So I wouldn't say he's underappreciated. I mean, he just died, too young and before he really got to go into the hero era. And if he got to go in the hero era, it might be a conversation between Jack and him.
That's what I've always heard.
Because,
yeah.
Yeah, I've always heard that Manili was Stan's favorite artist.
Yep, Stan's number one.
No,
Yeah,
this is what I heard, and then I was told the story.
But Jack created all that stuff. I don't know if Manili.
But he died. Manili died before he got into the hero age.
Yeah.
Well, Baker died early too. Like there's people who die early. I can't give them what they could have had because I don't even like Manili personally. I try, I really do. I want to, but I just don't like from what I hear and then what I see, it just conflicts with me. I'm like, I just don't see it like maybe
For some
Stanley.
reason, I always connected with him. I always like, the Black Knight stuff or whatever. Some reason I always connected with him and wanted to, appreciate him more or whatever, have more of his stuff. But
Yeah.
Some of the people have been throwing in Jose Luis Lopez, Hogarth. Anthony knows this guy, Nick Cardy, pretty well.
Oh, I love Nick Cardy. I mean,
Cardy's great. He's getting his dues more, I think, the last few years.
I think Nick's Golden Age stuff is going to start being
nobody really cares about his Golden Age stuff. It's just his 70s covers.
Yeah.
I think they have a romance.
I mean, one of the covers I have in my personal is like a great Super Sons cover by Nick Cardy. And I bought out a guy's collection over the lockdown, and he had Cardy covers. And there's this one I kept, a horror cover I kept. I haven't put it out because I like it so much.
Here's Anthony Purdue with one of the most unique perspectives on it, with one of the most unique artists of the entire world, and Dick Briefer, obviously his Frankensteins, and Ernie Schroeder's. I'm going to agree with you on the Airboy of that era was very good.
Dick Briefer is interesting. I mean, he had a lot of great other stuff than Frankenstein, right? He also worked early in the Mystery Men.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
right?
but his style is quite unique. Kind of like L.B. Cole.
The funny Frankenstein one.
Yeah, the funny Frankenstein one.
Oh yeah,
Which,
I love that.
Which when it got to the horror ones later on, didn't have the same. They look cool. Didn't have the same feel of it being a goofy monster.
Yeah, there's one artist that has a really cool style. It's like he kind of reminds me of Basil Wolverton. He didn't do a lot of covers, and so I never ever hear his name. But he did a lot of interior art for Harvey in the 50s, and it's Howard Nostrand.
Very good call.
His stuff is phenomenal. He didn't cut corners and any panels ever. It's so well done, and it's like Basil Wolverton style. And Basil Wolverton gets a lot of credit and is well known. He did a lot more covers, and he worked on some action Superman titles or whatever. Or no, that was Bernard Daly, but Wolverton style and Nostrand's are very similar, but Nostrand, I never hear anybody talk about him. But I'll tell you, I've got the full collected works of Chamber of Chills, and I read through those, and I love when I get to one that's a Howard Nostrand story. It's always my favorite art in there. And another Harvey guy that is well known, but I feel like still underappreciated is Lee Elias. He did massive PCH cover grails, but then he also worked on Wings. He also did some Harvey War stuff. I think Lee Elias is a solid artist, and people know who he is because he did a ton, but I don't ever hear anybody really praising him too much other than like Terrific.
All it will take is one Netflix show about any of these guys' lives, and it'll go through the roof.
I'll mention one of the artists I really love, as Irv Novick. I just
good one.
love the stuff he does.
Irv Novick has some awesome MLJ stuff.
And
I was
his
going to
comics were great. He did some Wonder Woman 2 later, and that was great. And I don't know. I really enjoy his stuff.
That's a good
I don't think he gets enough credit.
Bob Fujitani's pretty good. I think he gets credit among a small niche of like off-brand GA collectors, but most people outside of that don't know who Bob Fujitani is. I don't think he did a ton of stuff.
I can tell you, I could throw out there, right? If you get into the 70s and you get into where, Marvel did the shotgun effect of like putting out all those titles, and somehow I don't know exactly how, but when they found the Filipino school guys and they exported all that work for these guys to work, in a third world country, and they were doing and they were doing 2, 3, 4 times the work in putting out that black and white finished art for the magazines, like the Rudy Nebrez's that all those guys were just doing 2, 3 times the work for a third of the money. They were paying. They exported that work out.
$16 a page or something.
Oh no, it's much less than that.
Oh.
I've heard like it was down to like $2, $3, $4, $5
For pencils ending,
and it was finished black and white art,
Oh.
not just a penciler, not an inker, not a colorist.
right?
They were doing 3 jobs because they were penciling, they were putting in their blacks and doing shading for finished black and white art for the magazines, and that kind of work. If you look back on it, it's just like, oh my God, these guys were just killing themselves for, such a third of the money and doing 3 times the work. I'm gonna stick with that equation right there: a third of the money and 3 times the work.
Dick Briefer did Silver Streak, didn't he?
Oh, could have.
I think, and another one I get people just got a message on was Tom Sutton.
Yeah, he did a lot of Charlton stuff.
Yep, a lot of Charlton work.
Yeah, who's the guy who did all the a lot of gray tone stuff for like early DC bronze horror? Gray Morrow. He's pretty good.
Gray Morrow, yeah.
Gray
Well,
Morrow
yeah.
and Russ
Well,
Manning.
you and your war covers are going to go crazy about that, right?
Russ Manning did a lot of those.
Russ
great
Manning.
ones.
I really like Luis Dominguez too, and
Well, he's from that Filipino school, yeah.
yeah, he's real good.
Hey,
Well,
Dia,
no, actually, I shouldn't say that because he was actually from Argentina, but he was imported into. He was working a lot in Argentina and Spanish-speaking South America. He was doing advertising and stuff like that, and he was somehow came to America, and nobody. This collection I bought out recently. The guy was friends with Luis Dominguez, and nobody did more covers than that guy through the 70s. All those horror covers,
Yeah,
and just a ton of horror covers. And he had a great style. He had a good style. He wasn't a house artist. He had a style.
yeah, he's real good. I only have one cover of his, but I have some interior stuff I like.
I like the Dick Giordino comment here. Barry Windsor Smith gets a lot of credit. I mean, he's Barry Windsor Smith. He's a top 10. Aparo as well. But Dick Giordino is a name that I like because he did a lot of work with a couple of guys that I'm real big fans of. I'm a big fan of Kirby, and he did some stuff with Kirby, but big fan of Buscema, and he worked a lot on Buscema's Thor run. He also, so Dick Giordino's a good call. He was another one who's like he's a workhorse right there. I've heard
his biggest contribution to comics is working over Neil Adams' Batman.
Yeah,
defining the whole look of Neil Adams' Batman.
Who is that?
That's a Dick Giordano cover.
Ooh, let me see that.
That's real nice.
Yeah, Young Love. I think it's one of the last romance DC's had. 124.
What did she do? Why did they lock her up?
I don't know, but I kind of like these girl prison covers.
Oh, did you ever get that other one we talked about?
It's still waiting in the mail or to come in the mail, but I don't have a ton of art, but I picked this up because it's just cool. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You like women in jail?
For some reason, I just think it's a funny situation. You don't see them and it's usually over like a guy, So I'm just
yeah. What did she do for love?
Yeah, it's always a romance book that has a woman in jail.
What's that?
It's always a romance book where the woman's in jail.
yeah, my romantic adventures 49 and 50. Like those.
That's the crime. Like they never catch the women criminals. They're always on the cover riding away on motorcycles.
well, or they're breaking out of prison.
Breaking out of prison.
Cover Girl or
I have several DC romance covers on my website right now, and a guy wanted to buy them all, and but they're just too hard to come by. I mean, you want to. I'm going to pace myself with the cover art.
Hey, Anthony, I had a question for you. So during 2020, have you seen an uptick in investor types just blowing
Yes.
tons of, yeah.
Yes. I had a guy come into the market that spent a lot of money with me that, is a total Wall Street guy. And he just was looking for other stuff to spend his money on. And he's made a splash across the board with, the dealers, the auction houses. And there's just other kind of money like that coming in.
And what do you
Definitely.
think about, I've heard thoughts of this, like, I don't really know much about this stuff, but I found it interesting. People were talking about the crypto money. If people start paying for high-end collectibles with that, then it leaves like no paper trail and
Yeah.
all this. I don't know how that affects them.
I had a guy a long time ago want to pay me in crypto, and I didn't. I just didn't. I didn't know how to deal with it. And let's see. What is 200,000 bitcoins right now?
A lot.
A lot.
At 30,000 per.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're talking.
Is that $60 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I, said,
I mean, I missed the boat on that when somebody came over with that, and I called it funny money. And
I think it is, but I don't think
he's laughing at me now because he's well retired and he's 5 years younger than I am. He's out of it, but he even says
but
now.
I used to be very involved with the poker community when I was trying to, be a pro poker player out there. And, that was, they were always talking about it because those are the kind of people that wanted to hide their money and not, not have it registered anywhere. It's gray market stuff. That's why they call it a gray market. Yep. There's an ETF called the gray market. I mean, they're not trying to hide. It's just like, they're not trying to hide that they're trying to hide.
So you got the New York Stock Exchange, you got the NASDAQ, you got the bulletin board, you got the pink sheet, and then way down here, you got the gray sheet market.
Yeah.
And the gray sheet market it's made up. It's pretty much.
But anyway, those guys that I had, limited interaction with, but they're not going to spend that money. They just wanted to have it over here, down there, or wherever, where it wasn't on the books. I mean, they don't spend it.
Mm.
I mean,
how are the the influx in investment people changed? I mean, anything, or has it changed anything, or?
Well, I think we all see the heritage results keep getting pushed up, and where is that money coming from?
Mm.
It's not coming from the normal, day-to-day nostalgia-based collectors, which I try to gear my entire business towards. And, but, the holiday season was good. I mean, we were putting out a lot of packages and stuff like that, but it's my stuff with what I deal with, or the stuff that's not on my website. That's what enters that aspect of the market. If I do a deal with somebody, a private deal like that, or with like that guy that, hit me up and said, "Hey, I'm looking for this." And I'm like, "Well, I do have some of that." And then, "Well, what do you want for it?" And it was like, how about this? And he's like, okay. It's like, so when the deals go down like that, like that amount of money doesn't, it's going to get me through, a sizable chunk of my, whatever you want to, didn't mean anything to him.
Yeah. Yeah. From Anthony, I've heard this and a few other people. It's on the art dealers. I spoke to one other art dealer on recently, or a couple of months ago, or last month, I should say, around my birthday. And he said, hey, by the way, happy birthday. Anthony was just a couple of days ago.
Thanks. I'm 50 lucky 7.
Your birthday too. No, you're October. DS is October. I have to remember that.
October.
Yeah. We had
how old are you, Jay?
I'm 47.
Oh, 47. Wow. I'm the oldest guy here.
That's not the first time that happens with you. I've seen you at cons. The only one older than you one time was Jim Steranko. I forget what con it was a small one.
Wow.
No. You have to remember, this was early at a con. If we were there, you were setting up, and Jim came in, and it was a bunch of kids were running around. And somebody says, God, I feel old. I'm like, I'm going to go over to Anthony Snyder and go check out his stuff while he's setting up. And he goes, well, you just want to not feel so old? I'm like, that's not me. But I laughed at it.
Wow.
But, one of the other art dealers I spoke to, he said something very similar where he said, when I get a phone call from a guy and says, I see you have 8 or you have almost a full book of art of the same book. How much you want for the whole book? Now, I know some people package them together. Anthony has done that with a few things. We buy the whole book. I think you have to be a real fan of that book to buy every page. But he said it wasn't hard. What was hard for me to sell 2 years ago or last year is easier to sell now. I'm having a harder time just doing the normal con interaction stuff where I can sell 30 $500 pieces in an hour and a half versus selling one $25,000 piece like that, or even higher if you think about it. But
are those investment people taking away, any of the dealers' business as far as because maybe people who might come to you, those hustling investor types might seek those, people out before you could get to them or before they might come to you?
Well, it's two different things that you're talking about. I think there's investor types that are willing to buy and hold stuff. And then there's flippers, floor sharks. I used to call them, guys looking to, buy and flip it, the same show. But we don't have that right now. We don't have shows. But
that's what
there's it's not just dealers that have pushed prices up. It's also hobbyists and part-time guys that are want to flip stuff and push price points up. And
I feel like dealers, if it was only dealers, it wouldn't have been pushed as high, because how can you keep track of so many books? But now you have all these little guy flippers, and they're just focusing on this little tiny, little tiny group of books that they can control because they don't have the capital or the inventory. But that makes this attention to the price, keeps going up and up because all this attention is put on there. Like that.
Yeah, on some of the rare GA books, you see the same book moving around. It literally is like musical chairs. One guy I know, I'll see the same book 4 times for sale, and I know each person that has owned it down the line, and each one is buying it and reselling it at a higher price. And then I don't know where that merry-go-round stops on some of these books, but I don't have I think a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines on some of these books or moving into other areas. There's a lot of moving around in the hobby to different areas and not sticking where they're at because people are trying to find opportunities. I don't know. I think that has something to do with it.
One great point about that is I have bought a book from a dealer, 4 years later sold it back to the same dealer, and he sold to another guy and another guy, and he bought it, and he specifically said to me, he goes, I've owned that, but it's a rare book, but he goes, I've owned that book 3 times. You were the first one to buy it off me, and you got a steal. If you kept it, I said, I know, but you wanted it back and you gave me a good deal on it, so I don't really care. You can't live on regrets of what you sell. If you do, you're in the wrong world. You're in the wrong world. I mean, if
I'd be on a lot of medication.
Yeah, you have to let it go. I mean,
a lot.
Yeah, because between Anthony Wood, I can imagine what he's had in his world,
Well, I'm old enough, if you want to talk about my age, I'm old enough that, I started and established myself in an age where, you were a dealer people, you would sell stuff to people, and they would, when they wanted to sell, they'd come back to you and sell it back to you. And sometimes it was their whole collection. They, I'm getting out of it. I need the money, whatever, and you'd give them half of what they paid. Now that just doesn't exist with all the selling venues that collectors have. They just think, oh, I don't want to sell it for less than what I paid or whatever. And a lot of times that, hurts the dealer types because, or myself, I will speak for myself, that'll hurt me because I'm not going to buy without immediate margin.
Good call.
That
Yep.
was a great time when people would just sell you back all this stuff at 50%, though. That was an awesome time, man.
My buddy who owned a good shop that didn't really deal in modern comics, only dealt in the old stuff. He used to says, I'm a pawn shop for comic book fans. All I do is they come in, they pay $200 for a book, and then 2 years later I pay $100 to get it back.
No, there you go. Yeah.
300,
And I feel like it's definitely getting increasingly more difficult to buy stuff with margin for resale.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where like these modern comics work for people because they instantly buy something that's hot, that has value to it at cover price, and then they can resell some of that for a lot of people. But like for the vintage stuff, I mean, it's like trying to find it to resell it, and that person who wants to just sell it for a reasonable price, and if you get margin and the margin's tight, a lot of time you're like,
yeah.
I have a local.
It's a lot of work.
I have a local pawn shop here who's got a nice run of Journey into Mystery, and I'm interested in it. They don't know how to grade a book, but they certainly know how to look up online what a book sold for. So they have it listed at, let's say, $300, and I'm like, that's a graded 8.5. You have a ungraded 4.0 here.
Yeah.
And they're like, somebody's gonna buy it, and that's their answer. I said, you're playing with fire, but I will say this: the knowledge in the industry, Golden Age especially, has grown a lot. But like Jeff said, Guru said, in particular, the modern age stuff, there are books that aren't even out yet that people are getting ready to sell at premiums. And that is something that didn't happen. Or you can, right now, maybe not everybody, but we can rattle off where a book sells off the top of our head now. We don't have to look up what the last sale is of X. We know that right now, all New Mutants 98s are between this number and this number for a slab book. A slab book where it's less and less it's kind of like baseball cards where it's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. I get that. Trust me, I get that. But that's not the case. Almost to where I've argued with people that says, in today's comic world, the second a book is slab, it technically can become currency. For you, you can think of it as currency, to where I know this 8.0 Star Wars 42 is now a $125 book. Well, that's a hot book, but a book that isn't hot, that just is a steady there. I think that's one of those weird things where people say, I know where it is, or it takes seconds to find out where the last sale was. Where you didn't know this stuff years ago, you were going through one of these things.
Well, now you can just buy an artist's name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just be like, it's going to be a variant cover by Alex Ross. It's going to be a variant cover by, we saw in the chat already a couple times, Peach Momoko. It's going to be a variant cover by, Jim Lee or whoever. And you know that if you get it and it's a 9.8 and you submit it, that book you paid for like a cover price, you're going to get probably $150 for it at a 9.8.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Like the new I know McFarlane's doing something coming up, and people are talking about it all over the place, and they're like, when this comes out, he's gonna. And then Todd's no fool. He's a one of the most brilliant guys in the comic world, as far as business goes. He knows he's going to do a signature signing of an X number of books of that book he's going to sign, and he won't sign any more of those, and he's going to sell them directly on. And he's going to do that. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think it's a Spawn something, probably. It's definitely something he created. as he said. He goes, "I only sign things I create." So,
Yeah, I think another reason the prices seem to be moving faster than they have been, however many years ago or whatever, is the market. The books are moving so much more quickly because there's so many auctions weekly and monthly that it's accelerated how fast books are moving back and forth, that a book that's going to grow in price steadily will grow much quicker because the action is quicker on a book. It's not like you have to wait for a con. There's Heritage every Sunday night, and then they have their featured. There's Comic Link, there's Comic Connect, there's other smaller auction houses, and there's Instagram, eBay, Facebook, all these other places that stuff is moving so quick that anything that's going to go up in price goes up way quicker than we've seen before. So there's these super quick jump. Books are doubling and tripling and quadrupling in value over the course of months. Silver Age Keys, I've only been back in the hobby for 5 or 6 years, but even when I got back in the hobby, it would take a year for a Silver Age book to go up, 30% or something. Now there's some of these books that are like tripling in value over the course of months, and it's just the action is so fast.
This was my book. This is the book I bought off the rack way back when, and I swore myself I'm never getting those books slabbed unless it ever broke a value. I saw what these things were going for. I stacked up a bunch of moderns and shot them off to CGC. I just saw what this thing was going for, and I'm like, I'm not selling it, but it's just one of those things where I'm like,
Well, what's it worth?
I don't know. It's over 100 already. Well,
9/8 of that book are over $2,000, I think.
They were $150 last year.
That's what I'm saying. It's gone 20 times in value in less than a year.
And it's a 40-year-old book.
I forgot what issue it is, but the Tom Palmer painted cover where the Sarlacc pit spits up Boba Fett.
Oh,
that one caught fire too.
Blood Tides? Blood Tides? Is that the Dark Horse one?
No, it's a Marvel.
It's a Marvel one? Okay.
How many times
it's a painted cover.
Okay, yeah.
The portraits, of all the main characters by Tom Palmer, and the what is that? Sarlacc pit?
Sarlacc pit, yeah.
Yeah, spits up Boba Fett's body. That one went from like $10 to $100, and we had like 50 of them.
Damn.
Oh,
how much?
2,500.
Did it sell for that, or is that asking?
That's
gold. I don't know if it's still bidding. It's eBay, but it's bids. It's an auction.
53 bids.
53 bids.
But I wonder, like, if you track that book though for like the past 5 months or a year, are you seeing the same serial number like sell multiple times? I can't remember if GPA shows that or not.
Well, no, Gold Collect does.
Because
Gold Collect does. I've never done it for a book as common as this.
GPA will show, if you click on the link, it'll show you the CGC verification.
Verification, okay.
Yeah, there's another one from a month ago.
And if you now, can you? Is there a way you can just keep going back? Is there a way you can go? Just go 90 days before.
Well, I don't. Let's see. Here's October. Yeah, so this is October 12th.
That's before the new series. 1,000.
Only 4 bids, so he probably had like 1,000 starting bid, and only a couple of people got in on it.
Yeah.
They're not newsstands or anything crazy. It's just standard 9/8 of this book.
Why is a newsstand? It's 1980. There were more newsstand than there were the other one.
Yeah, I know, but people buy newsstands at a higher premium, and then so that
maybe
was
because they're harder to get a higher grade because they're not cared for as well.
That's my understanding. That's the way I think about it.
Yeah, that's why because everybody's like, oh, if you have an early newsstand, there are much more of them, as opposed to a late newsstand, a 90s newsstand, there are less of them.
A huge amount less than
right. And I think the cusp is 1991. That's June. Yeah.
So it went up 200. It went up 25% from October to November, and then in December it's at 1,800, and then most recently in January it's at 2,500. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know why the action is so quick on these things, and it doesn't seem sustainable at that pace to me.
You could say that about the Turtles one again.
Yeah,
94 sold for like $35,000+ Earlier in the year, it was like 12 to 14.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but it gives me pause when I see books in such a short period of time doubling and tripling in value or more. It's so quickly in a market. You know, it's being a stock market, and you would be out of stock if it was doing that. Everybody would be selling it with crash. I don't know, man. I don't know if it doesn't seem sustainable. Stuff can't just keep going up forever. I don't know.
Good point.
Can some of that be little flippers? So if you got your little guy, you know, not a dealer or anything, but he's like, hey, I can buy this. I definitely will make at least $50, and he'll do it. And then the next guy will do the same exact thing because it's worth it to them. Whereas like the bigger guys would be like, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not paying it that close attention, and I'm not gonna waste all this. I don't have the time to do every little book just to get the, you know.
Because you know, I try to list all my books right under GPA because I want to move them quick. I feel like the time that I gain is worth more than the extra few bucks in waiting. Time is a more valuable resource than money. So I would rather sell it quick for a little bit less and put that money back to work for me. That time is worth more than the little extra amount I would get to compete with all the other GPA copies. But I'll sell them on eBay at just under GPA, and I'll see a lot of them get instantly relisted. And I'll check the tracking, and it just arrived the day before, and now it's on eBay, and the guy's got it just over GPA, and it sits there for a while, and then he sells it. And with the eBay fees and the time and the photos and the shipping, and it doesn't seem worth it to me, but I think there is a lot of that going on. But I mean, if you're just getting started, or if you don't have a lot to work with, if you can make, you know, 20, 40, 50 bucks on a book and do that, you can make a couple $100 a week, and that buys a lot of, you know, modern stuff that you can flip, and you can. Yeah, I feel like it's a young man's game, though. You got to be quick on the trigger. You got to be way up on the news. You got to be in and out so quick. I don't have the wherewithal to be that fast. I think people do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, ASM 300 is another one.
I'm like, I don't know why that's going up.
That book went from $2,000 at like midway of 2019. It was at $2,000. I remember I bought a collection that had an ASM 300 in it. I offered it up as a 9.2 pre-pressing to several people at $425. Nobody wanted it. I sent it in while it was at CGC. The price like doubled on the book up to like $4,000 just while I was at CGC in a modern submission. It came back at a 9.6, and I sold it for $1,500, and the price had tripled like 2.5 times just in the time I was at CGC. It went from 2,000 to 5,000 on 9.8.
And it's a modern.
CGC turnaround time for moderns was like a month.
What book is that?
ASM 300.
Oh,
I sold my 9.6 newsstand, which I laughed when the guy said, "Is that a newsstand?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, for about $1,000. And I think this guy overpaid. And I told him, he goes, "Trust me, it's hard to find a newsstand in a 9.6." I said, okay, I get it. And I told him, I don't think it's been, if you want to press it, you can try that. I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but I've owned that book forever. And I did the 3 books in a row. Now I hear people about this 300, and I'm like, you could probably find one in a back of, just find some guy who hasn't looked at comics in a storage bin or something like that, because there might be 20,000 slabbed, but there are about another 3.4 million out there of that book.
I'll tell you, I don't buy a lot of collections. I'm not like a full-time dealer or anything. I'll pick up. I bought that collection, the entire collection. The guy had like 4 long boxes of decent stuff. I paid $1,400 for the whole collection, and I sold the ASM 300 for $1,500, which was, I felt like it was not worth that. But I mean, it's just going up the roof. I don't understand. It's like crazy.
well, that guy who used to be on your Bubs show, he found like a box or something with all those Secret Wars 8s.
Well, he found all the Secret Wars 8s, the ASM 252s, all those. Yeah, what he did was, though, there's an old guy. I know the backstory of this. I'm not going to mention names, but he was talking to a guy who used to own a shop and had a bunch of stuff in storage, unopened stuff. And the guy's elderly now, and he's not, ready. He's not with the game anymore. He's sort of a little bit easy. And this guy was like, go look and see what you want. And, if you want to buy some stuff there. And so he found all this stuff and basically gave the guy peanuts for it. And I don't think the guy knew what he was giving, how many books or what he was giving away. He just sort of left the guy and trusted him to take what he was saying. And then he just scooped out boxes of all these mint keys and gave the guy virtually nothing for them. And I don't know, that's the story I heard about it. And I think he sort of took advantage of an older guy to score all those. It didn't strike me as an ethical purchase. It wasn't like the guy just knew what he had and was offering at that price. I think the guy didn't know that's what he was taking.
And that's something from you who would say if you were at a garage sale and there was a 181, you wouldn't feel bad about paying.
No, that's different though. Look, if a person has a full unopened case of ASM 300s and they say I'll take $5 for it, yes, I'm going to give them $5 and walk. But if they say go look and see what you want and let me know, and I say yeah, I found a couple, I'll give you $20, and then I take out 10 boxes of stuff, that's dishonest. But if you're offering something up for sale, you put yourself in the market. You're responsible for yourself if you're a grown-up. And if somebody's going to offer something for $5 that's worth $5,000, it's not up to me to educate them. It's the market. There's nothing unethical about that. If it's a kid, it's different. If it's somebody who's elderly or compromised in some way or doesn't know what you're taking, that's different.
I last year, prior to COVID, literally a week before, it might have been out there, but it was in February or March. I went and I saw, and this guy says, I was buying a keyboard, a piano keyboard from him. He says, hey, you're into comics. And he figured that out. And I said, okay. And he says, I got a whole bunch of these DCs. And he said they're all 12 centers, and he's right. He's got a good run of stuff from 1960, 62. I asked him, where's 359? Where's Detective 350 or Batman, whatever it was, the first Barbara Gordon, Is that right? Am I doing it right?
Detective 359, yeah.
I said, because he sent me his list of them on a spreadsheet. I said, where's 359? Where's 181? He goes, oh, this guy came and just took his favorite. I gave him to him. I'm like, well, what you have left are a bunch of $5 books.
Yeah.
And what you gave away was about at least $1,000 worth of books. So he's like, that guy's a friend of mine. I'm like, well, So now I get phone calls from him. I found this stuff. And I'm like, and it's all those Patsy Walkers. I'm not kidding you. I got a bunch of Patsy Walkers and non-Chuck Connors rifleman, non-well-endowed Chuck Connor rifleman photo covers, but a few good ones and coverless. But there's a few in there I might go back for and take a look at. But one of the things before we close out here, I want to say is thank everybody for being here. We do focus on Golden Age, but we're also educating you what we're talking about the moderns, because we collect Golden Age. But to do that, some of us sell our moderns and our keys or our hot books, and we're not fools. We're in the comic business. We know what's going up and down, and it's a buy and sell market. So I think that's kind of where we are now, is that I look at my books and I said, if they're paying this much money for a book I paid cover price for, at what point am I a fool not to sell? Now, you can't ask your parents because they would have sold them by now. So if we could give you good advice, we'll give you good advice. Bub, I didn't mean to, call you out for not selling your Batman Adventures 12. Like I say, how you collect, what you do, how you buy and sell, it's all up to you. And as long as
people can enjoy the hobby however they want, but some of us really do enjoy the art of selling, where you can, and I don't buy a lot, but I'll buy small packages or singles here and there. There's something very satisfying about finding some keys getting them cleaned up and slabbed, and then moving them off to somebody who appreciates it and getting a premium or a profit for your work. There's something very satisfying about that. And there is a love of the book, even though you know you're not going to keep it from the moment it comes in your hands. It's still a very enjoyable part of the hobby, and it's a different type of satisfaction than just buying grails that you like, that you want in your PC for yourself to look at. It's a different type of enjoyment, and a lot of people don't get that. And you know, flippers get a bad rep and everything, but you know, there's selling books is its own sort of fun endeavor, and it's different than just collecting for the PC. And you know, I like to do a little bit of everything, and it makes the hobby very enjoyable. A lot of different aspects to it.
Yeah, make sure you're happy doing this too, because if you're miserable, do something else. Yeah, don't do this. Don't spend your life being. What is? I don't know if anybody's. If you do what you love, you'll always be richer. I love when somebody.
No, find something you love to do, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Right. There you go. That's another great line. I was using the line off of Code.
I like comic books.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
I think.
No, one of my, as far as looking at collections, and you know, other professional dealers might find that where I get a kick out of, you know, if I'm looking through an Iron Man run and it's like 53, 54, 56, or Spider-Man run, it's like 127, 128. 130.
Yep.
You know, that happens so much.
Exactly.
It's crazy how much it happens. I bought a collection from a neighbor, a guy who lived on the next block over. He said, "Oh yeah, you know, our previous owner of the house just left it there for my kids at the time." And there was no 129, there was no 181. And he had 180, 182. He had 127, 128, you know, 130. And I'm like, "Oh, what happened to those two?" He's like, "Oh, I sold a couple a few years ago." I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. When we went to, I was helping a guy here who bought a comic shop out. He was buying it out, moving it all to his second-hand store. And he asked me to come in and take a look at it and what he was going to pay for it. And I said, okay, it's $10,000 for all the comics in there. And I haven't been in that shop in years, but the guy used to have some decent stuff. Nothing great. I mean, he had an FF48, a few, you know, of that caliber, let's say, of those books. If I told you the best book in that run at the time, this story is going to change in a quick. At the time, which was about last Christmas, was probably a Thor Annual 13. Now, it was a bunch of dreck, so we thought. In there also was every Star Wars comic done by Dark Horse.
Oh, yeah, they're all valuable
So
now.
I went over to him the other day, and we pulled out the stack, and we are sending off 11 of the first of this person, 14 of the first of this person. So he said he was so upset about it, and I said, you never know what's going to happen. And when I see something big happen, I go over there and I tell him, I says, and I'm always honest with him, I says, get that $5 price tag off of all those books right now. Take him, put him in the corner. He's a friend, so I wouldn't go in there and say, yeah, I'll take those all for $50. I'm not going to do that. And he's got that, I don't know what it is, Kanan, and because it just ended. I mean, he literally stopped at Venom 8 or whatever, or Venom 9, but all of those, the Clone Wars, the Phantom Menace, all that stuff, all of them, he's got them all. So now he's happy, you know, he's like, now I'm a comic shop. I'm like, yeah, but he looks up and he doesn't know what he's doing. He sees, look, this one sold for $250. He goes, that's a 9.8 slabbed. He goes, this is in good condition. I said, it smells like cat piss and everything. You guys know that story that I went to this comic shop and this guy used to let his cats walk all over the boxes. And then they lived there, right? So he's like, oh, they didn't do anything. Well, I am allergic to cats, so I couldn't even go to the shop. We had to take everything out of the shop, and it took him. It was 10 to 20,000 comics, and it took months to rebag and board and dry. I just said, buy a case of dryer sheets, get a room with no air in it, whatever it is, a closet, and just get him in there and don't touch him for months. And he's done that. One book I did find, though, last week in the back of a shop, which I was nice enough to give it to the guy, the owner, was the first Vampirella. I said, I'm going to let you I'm going to tell you, this is a big book. If you give me a deal on all the rest of these, and I have a first Vampirella, so I wasn't like, I'm going to do it. But this is, it's one of those things. But anyway, it is getting a little late here, and I know Anthony's getting.
Let me tell you this one thing. Anthony's saying where you're looking through, and then that one key is always missing. My favorite to see of that is on eBay. There's so many of these. People list Secret Wars 1 through 12, missing 8. I see that's all over eBay. I see it all the time, and they want $5-10 for each book. Nobody ever bids on them. Nobody ever buys them. Like, it's missing 8. There's so many of those I see. One of those things.
Yeah, and I missing 8 on those ones I've seen. I see the Thor God of Thunder run 1 through 25, missing 2, 6, and 14 and 25. So you don't have the full run. And it always starts full run of missing. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't be full. But we're going to, before we go, on anybody, I'm going to everybody go around. Anthony, I'm going to bring up, tell us about what you're doing this weekend with Billy Cox.
Yeah, so there's been a monthly comic show started back up, and I always set up at it. And it's been, it's run well, and it's been clean, and we've had no problems with any sort of mass infections or anything like that. So he has 2 ballrooms upstairs in Wayne and at this hotel. And the thing is that it's about a half an hour away from the city, and so their restrictions are a little looser. And so I rented the entire ballroom downstairs on the same day. And I'm going to fill up that ballroom with my inventory and a few artists, like Scott Hanna's coming and Riley Brown's coming, and the guy that's repping Ron Wilson and Larry Stegman and a few other guys. And so I'm just having my own little mini con, like it's kind of an Anthony's mini con down there, and I'm going to fill the room up with my own inventory because I can only fit so much on 2 tables in this other guy's show, and that's I thought that maybe some other dealers would be interested in, but the art con is that Joe Fateri puts on is more of a dealer show, and I'm still doing that. Joe's a friend of mine. We've talked about it. This is just more like my thing, because I want to get my stuff out there and just set up at a location and have my entire inventory out there, because I haven't done it since February.
Yeah. Are you going to stream
Chicago?
This? Are you going to stream this on YouTube?
Oh yeah. We're gonna be and Bill are gonna stream an hour from 12 to 1 Eastern time. So yeah.
Is it going to be on Comic Art Fans or?
Yep.
Okay. So you go to Comic Art Fans, check out Bill Cox, good friend of ours. Check out that for sure. I actually I may call in. I'll let you know.
Yeah, get on his streaming. I'll send you the link that you can come in and maybe
BS. We'll talk a little bit. Maybe I'll find something. Never know.
Yeah,
always good. Thank you again.
Okay.
All right. Guru, do you got anything you wanted to plug real quick? Are we doing another claim it?
I'm gonna have another claim sale this month. I just don't know when yet. I think we're still trying to figure out the dates, but it'll be in January. Another claim sale, guys. Keep it out on Instagram at Golden Age Guru. We'll have a lot of inventory as usual. More Golden Age books, Silver Age, blah blah blah, the usual.
And then one of the best. It's one of the most diverse and take bot. It's a take fest. It's a take fest.
Just got this in for it. I'm just getting ready, guys. I'm getting all kinds of stuff in. I got a timely in. I try to start every claim sale off with a timely as my first book to try to sell. And
it's such a diverse group of books that he does. And I'm just gonna say, be quick on the draw.
Yeah, and the only round, Jeff, where you were like, oh, I don't have a timely to start off. The second book you put up was like a funny animal or something. I think you didn't. Yeah, you didn't realize that.
I know. I was looking for. I got bought out literally the claim sale before.
Yeah.
I seen you buy like 8 or 9 timelies, like everything I had. I was like, oh my god, I didn't expect that. And
Timelys are hot. Knight's going to have to get back on the horse on the value.
Yeah, get on a horse.
I trade up all mine away. The keys, the very small keys.
Yeah, I think I have a line on a Marvel Mystery 12 that I might buy.
Nice.
Yeah, I might. I was going to buy it. The one con I was going to go get it from this dealer, they canceled. It was when they started relocking things down like a month and a half ago or whatever. So that con didn't happen. That's where I was going to pick that up. So hopefully he still has it. I don't know. We'll see. If he does, I'll get that probably.
So I want one question for Anthony. So, you talked about knowing collectors over like decades. Do you now there's some collectors like me who and DS I think falls into this where they, for whatever reason, we realize like, wow, I have all these books. I could, instead of keep buying small ones, I could just, sell or trade all these and put it into one big one. And then we keep doing that over and over and over again. Does that work out in the long run for guys like us?
I think so. I remember how I started. I started out with that, maybe that $100 page or that $100 comic was, the top of my budget at the time in the 90s. I'm talking mid 90s, and like, where a Hulk cover was $400. So I would, if I was buying $100 things and I wanted to turn, a few of those $100 things into a $500 thing, and then a few of those $500 things into, a $2,500 thing. I was always pushing my price points up like that, and that's where I think the greater percentage of the growth of the market is in the higher end or higher grade comics, or higher sought after art, the art that, I remember buying the Spidey 149 cover for $2,500. What is that worth now? It's like,
wow,
that $100,000 Gil Kane cover might be,
Yeah, I would say, that could be six figures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of what I've done. I mean, this is about at the top of my current price point, honestly. This level of book is sort of like the biggest book that I can get these days. But yeah, I've been able to move my price point up without adding any additional money to the hobby. It's just self-sustaining at this point. And I'm pretty happy I'm up to this level, honestly. This is, for me, quite an accomplishment to be able to have this book be the top of my price point. Whereas 3 years ago, it would be, a $1,200 book or $1,000 book. So yeah, I've made some pretty good progress doing that. Yeah.
I'm always still doing that in my business as well, because I don't discount any sort of collectible. If one of my guys comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to start Pokemon," and I'm like, "Okay, well, what, bring in some deals." And that those deals have gone crazy in the past year, where we were buying stuff for 100 holos for a few $100s. Now those 100 holos are worth a few $1,000s. Those price points have in the same way have come up, and like high grade comics, or like good artwork. And I've spent more money in Pokemon and grading Pokemon than I have in comics lately.
Really? I'm so out of it.
I've sent hundreds and hundreds of cards in.
You might be older, but I certainly act older because I'm playing cribbage with cards now.
Yeah,
so.
I thought you were older than me. So I was like, "Hey, am I the oldest guy here?" No, I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm still relatively
You're
healthy,
great.
relatively healthy.
Yeah, I always thought you were younger anyway. So if that helps.
Yeah, I hope
I'm young. If I wanted to go back in the dating pool, I think late 30s.
Yeah, you'll pull that off.
Yeah, I tell people
More vision.
I'm still pulling off 32, maybe 50.
You're a mask. You never know. So
I'm 27 now.
Yeah, that works. I'll buy it.
3017. So, Guru. I mean, Knights. You got anything you want to plug or do anything, or just us on Tuesdays? How about you, DS? You got anything? You have anything coming up on your channel?
Friday night on Comic Books NYC channel. Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. He's holding a claim sale, and I've got some cool books.
Nice.
So
Which
hopefully
one? What NYC?
Comic Books NYC is you know him, Anthony. It's Kavi. He he's bought from you in the past.
Coffee?
Kavi, yeah, he lives in Brooklyn, I think.
Yeah. Comic Books NYC. He's got a YouTube channel.
He's got a YouTube channel. He's going to do a claim it sale there. He's a big art collector, so.
And I've got some nice rolls and some good slabs, some keys, bronze, copper stuff. So yeah, that should be fun hangout, and hopefully I can move some books. And I try to sell everything just below GPA so that I can move it quick. I'm not worried about the few extra bucks. I just want to move stuff quick. I leave a little money on the table, but I feel like I move stuff quicker that way. So that's how I do it. So if you want some, I probably have something people are looking for, and you can get a good deal on it.
There you go.
Cool.
Well, I don't have anything, no mainframe stuff going on right now. Well, it's going on behind the scenes, but nothing big for this week. Just everybody be safe, have fun. Don't take everything. Happy New Year. Don't take everything too seriously. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you all for being a friend. And take care, everybody.
Okay, good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.